We're here again, and I'm just checking. We're just this morning in advance, well in
We're
advance here
good.
this morning,
We're good.
and we are, according to my partner in crime here, we're good.
We're good
It's the
all the
first
way
time
around.
I've ever been accused of being good.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
we're
I'm not doing this.
this is live and local real talk, and we will be joining you live here in just a couple of minutes. I mean,
Yes.
live-er.
Rayford's ready. My God.
I tell you what, if we ever have another problem in here
Oh,
with the
my
internet,
God.
and it was not an us problem, though it was on our end, but it wasn't
Right.
us's end. It was a device that was furnished by the folks over there. They do a good job. It's just sometimes these devices wear out, and one portion of their modem wore out. And we're going to talk about that a little bit about what you guys need to be
Yes.
doing for your wireless stuff in your home,
Mhm.
and I'll tell you the reasons why. Because everywhere else in this building, everything is hardwired or it has a separate router.
Right.
Not one furnished by the company, one
Right.
furnished by me.
That's right.
And we don't ever have any trouble with those.
Well, I
Amazing, isn't it?
just how do you swing this thing?
Carefully.
It must weigh 30 pounds.
No, it's only 2 pounds, believe
It is not.
It is a 2-pound hammer.
Bring the scale. That's a 30
Oh my
pound
God, it didn't even feel like 2 pounds.
That's a Well, here I'll exercise then. Oh my gosh, that's
Well,
got to be
Maybe it's 4 pounds, but it's
It's-
not heavy.
10 pounds.
It's 4. There's a number on it that says 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe
Well,
it?
then the handle weighs the 6.
Right there where it says 4.
See,
Okay,
wait.
enough frivolity. So we're gonna take our noise down. That
Yes.
means the audio is going to go away. But you say it is working this morning.
Everything's working great.
I hope you guys are watching and listening, and prepare thyselves. I think first caller this morning is likely to be a friend from down in Wilmington way, Wilmywood as they call it affectionately. So we'll be chatting with him if he calls in. I don't think he's got the intestinal fortitude to deal with me today.
Don't.
Hang in there, y'all. We'll be right back. Don't go away. And I just said it's 7 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Yes. She's
Well,
probably in bed sleeping.
One of mine is next door. The other one is in Charleston, South Carolina.
What's she doing in Charleston?
Who? She? No. One of mine is in Charleston. The other one is next door.
Wait a minute.
Oh, you didn't.
We have stories here.
Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
And good morning. I'm Lee Barrows. What?
Also known as Hailey. So today she's being sort of Chinese.
Y'all.
No,
Y'all.
that's not the way Chinese talk.
I'm patriotic today.
Yes, you are. Red, white, and blue.
That's right. I know my shirt looks
Not
pink
a
or
whole lot of
orange on
white.
but it's red.
And we're up on Facebook because we did it a couple of minutes ago for you people who actually tune into
That's
things
right.
early. You probably got an earful. If you were listening yesterday after about 9:30, we spent 22 minutes and change on the air testing a new thing that I fixed.
Yes, you did.
Anyway, we had some problems with an internet connection that was my fault because I did not count on the fallacies of the providers for this stuff. Of
Right.
which there were many. There were many problems there, but it all had to do with wireless. Don't count on it. There are things out there. There are gremlins. I can talk about that at length. And that's the one area that I do know about is the wireless part of the whole world.
Right.
Been dealing with that for a long time. Anyway, we're going to go back and tell you about a whole bunch of stuff. In case somebody did not know it, today's election day. For those of you who are standing in line right now, or you're getting ready to get in line, you're on your way to the polls, you're thinking about going to the polls, 7 from some of the folks out there.
Yes.
Give us a call, let us know. I know it'll be difficult to listen to us on your telephone
Or YouTube.
or YouTube on your
Yes.
telephone. And
Right.
or you want to stand in line listening, but with your earbuds though, because they're going to get really unhappy with you this morning listening, people around you. And somehow of them, about half of them, are likely to whomp up on you.
Bring it on.
So
I'll
anyhow,
be working the polls for a little while today.
okay.
I'm going out Northwoods
So,
at Catalyst Church. Come see me.
And Kelly is out there pole dancing,
hmm
and you're going to be out there doing more pole dancing.
I'm going to be out working for about 3 hours.
Oh, that's pole dancing from one pole to another.
No, just at one pole.
Just one pole. Okay.
Just one
So
pole.
she's going to keep her act at one place.
Yeah, I'm just walk down the street.
So that's one of the things that's happening today. Today also marks a dark day in U.S. history.
What day is that?
The 5th of November. The year was 1941. 1 month approximately before we were attacked
You know,
at Pearl Harbor.
I was going to bring that up. How
So-
did you read my mind?
Certain things about me you don't want to know. Isn't
Wow.
that scary?
Well, we've all known that, and we all know that. We all know that.
Back on this date, the November the 5th of 1941, the combined Japanese fleet received Top Secret Order Number 1. That's what it was called. Top Secret Order Number 1. Pearl Harbor will be bombed, is what it said, along with Malaya, which is now known as Malaysia.
Right.
The Dutch East Indies and the Philippines were targeted by the Japanese, the combined Japanese fleet. Relations between the United States. I want you guys to pay attention to this, okay? And pay attention to this and then try to move forward to this year and give it some thought over what has been occurring over the last several years. Relations between the United States and Japan had been deteriorating quickly since Japan's occupation of Indochina in 1940 and the implicit menacing of the Philippines, an American protectorate, with the occupation of the Cameron Naval Base approximately 800 miles from Manila. American retaliation included the seizing of all Japanese assets in the United States and the closing of the Panama Canal to Japanese shipping. In September 1941, President Roosevelt issued a statement drafted by British Prime Minister Winston Churchill that threatened war between the United States and Japan should the Japanese encroach any further on territory in Southeast Asia or the South Pacific. If you move forward to this year, you can, think about that for just a little bit. We've threatened all sorts of things.
Yes.
And we have very similar situations are occurring around the parts of the globe involving what some would say encroachment or domination of other areas by other countries, not us. The Japanese military had long dominated Japanese foreign affairs, although official negotiations between the United States Secretary of State and his Japanese counterpart to ease tensions were ongoing. The Minister of War, who would soon become the Prime Minister, had no intention of withdrawing from captured territories. He also construed the American threat of war as an ultimatum and prepared to deliver the first blow in a Japanese-American confrontation called the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And so Tokyo delivered the order to all pertinent fleet commanders that not only the United States and its protectorate, the Philippines, but British and Dutch colonies in the Pacific were to be attacked. War was going to be declared on the West. But they weren't going to declare war on the West until after the sneak attack. And of course, we know what occurred at that point in time. 1 month later, on the 7th of December, about 8 o'clock in the morning, at Pearl Harbor. I think it's 7:55. The first wave of the sneak attack began. And the interesting stuff about all that, and when we get closer to Pearl Harbor Day, we'll talk a lot about that and about the history and what led up to it, and then a bunch of stuff. Including, we had advance warning. First of all, we had advance warning from this because we knew things were deteriorating. We knew the possibilities of it, but we were not on high alert anywhere we were. We just did not take that too seriously at the command level. And even though on that fateful day, this newly invented thing called radar, manned by up on the hill there in Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, up on the hill there, this radar device, newfangled invention that nobody really trusted, started giving up all sorts of warnings, but nobody believed it. We did not believe it. We did not man battle stations. We were not prepared. We were going to breakfast and to church on that fateful Sunday morning. Anyway, did we tell anybody who we are?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Wait, something else happened this day in history.
It did. It happened on this date in history. Who do you, if you've got something like a big bunch of explosives, things that go boom, boom in the night, and who are you going to put out there to guard those things? Who would you put out there?
Military.
Well, back in 1605 on this date, a dude named Guy Fawkes.
Who?
That's Fawkes. Yeah, who is the right word? Who? It's not Fox News. It's Fawkes.
Fox.
A member of you know what he was? He was a member of something called the Gunpowder Plot. He was arrested while guarding explosives the plotters had placed beneath the House of Lords. Oh, goody, goody. The Catholic plotters had intended to assassinate Protestant King James I and his parliament. They were going to get them all. Do we need to be concerned about that in this country? Yeah, because all those guys gather, 435 congressmen and senators, 100 senators, and the president, and quite often, at least the vice president, who is president of the Senate. Right. They gather together. That's 536 people, leaders of this country, elected leaders of this country, gathered together in one place, all at the same time. How vulnerable are we for an attack and a complete, mess of this country?
Right.
I hope we've taken a lot of notice from that. I know we have, but we'll
see what happens today.
The observance of the 5th of November, what they call the observance of 5th November Act mandated an annual public day of Thanksgiving for the plot's failure. It did not happen, of course, so they all said, thank goodness we arrested that sucker before it went boom.
Well, I've got something for you.
What's that?
Happened this day in history in 2002. Brazil's National Institute for Space Research releases the results of a study of lightning incidents using satellite data. It found that Brazil has more lightning strikes than any other country in the world.
Well, amazing.
Stay in the house.
Yeah, put your lightning rods
Oh,
up.
yeah, during a lightning storm. That's
Hey,
interesting.
that might want to build a house underground there.
First of all, who does a study on lightning strikes?
Well, they do it here. You know what? You know who's? I think Florida is number one, and I believe North Carolina is number two.
I
in the
can believe
number of lightning
Florida.
strikes in the U.S. It's some we North Carolina and Florida are way up there if we're not number one and number two. So, okay, it is election day.
Yes, it is. Here we go.
Will it be a day of mourning? I don't know. Yeah, for 50% of the country.
Morning.
Half of the
Yes.
country is going to be really unhappy today. It is the day that some say will be the start to 4 good years. Others aren't quite so enthusiastic. Negative Nellies, I've heard them called. I've actually called them negative Nellies many times. Whoever loses, y'all grow up.
I just
Okay.
had your
Doesn't
cousin.
matter.
Your cousin just said, "Good morning. Remember today is garbage day, not recycling."
Oh, yeah, for the I got you.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. Oh
Yeah,
well.
it's deplorable garbage day.
But today's top vote getter in the presidential race, the man or woman who wins the magical number of 270 electoral votes, votes that are divided up based on population among all 50 states. North Carolina's got 16
Yes.
electoral votes. Okay.
Yes.
Some places have fewer. There's one state I think has one. Is that
I
Nevada or
have
whatever? Somebody has
that.
one. A couple of them have threes, but we've got 16. California's got way too many. New York's got way too many. They both have way too much input on the
Right.
say so of this country.
I agree.
I'm just kidding, but because there has to be a system, and it was set up many years ago. So many people want to take it down and just say, just the popular vote, just the popular vote.
Well, there's issues. I
There
mean, there's
issues
pros and
all the way
cons on
around.
both sides.
The polls are open across the entire Eastern time zone right now.
Right.
They've been open for 42 minutes, and they will open at 6:30 local time across the rest of the United States. Polls will remain open wherever you are for 13 hours, longer if voters are standing in line when 7:30 p.m. rolls around. An unprecedented turnout during early voting this year has already seen, in some cases, more than half of the registered voters
Mhm.
in those areas marking their ballots during the past few weeks. Many records have already been set. Other records for turnout will likely be broken. I'm glad, I'm happy, I'm enthralled, I'm just pleased as punch to see Americans finally deciding that the only way for their voices to be heard is to actually vote. Vote at the polls, not on social media.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
The social
Very much
media
so.
is a fake media.
Yes, it is.
If you want to talk about fake news and fake media, everything is questionable on social media. Okay? When they start posting whatevers. If you have firsthand knowledge of events about voter fraud, you need to say something. But we know we've already had complaints of fraudulent voting taking place. You've seen that.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's always been.
Those who say that it does not happen are fooling no one but themselves. In the presidential race alone, listen up. It's virtually impossible, mathematically virtually impossible to ensure that mistakes are not made. They can be made.
Yeah.
Sometimes they may be deliberate acts meant to screw with the elections process. Typically, as it was in 2020 with claims of voter fraud, not enough real evidence was ever submitted that the suspected fraud would have been enough to change the outcome. Even if all of the fraud cases or the allegations of fraud had been true, there were not enough votes involved that would have changed the outcome of the election. Period. But if you standing somewhere in line, or you have worked in the polls, or you know for a fact, not just hearsay, not social media BS.
Right.
If you know for a fact that something
BS.
has happened or is going on, it is your duty, your responsibility. Say something.
That's right.
When
If
you
see
see
it,
it,
say it.
say it. Talk
That's
about
right.
it. Talk to somebody who can do something about it. And there's not one soul on social media that can do anything about it.
Well, I had a friend send me a news story yesterday. It was from some independent news media, which in other words, self-made, sat at the coffee table, hey, let's start a media company.
Uh-huh.
And was saying that there were a whole bunch of absentee ballots that were never sent over to the military overseas, and that there was a couple congressmen demanding action. Well, you go to your reputable sites, which those I question too, but you look up that news story, nothing pops up anywhere. Nothing.
Well, doesn't mean it didn't happen.
True, but if this was a thing, you'd be hearing about it.
If these are requested, then somebody in the media who did not get theirs needs to say something. If you are members of the military and you are deployed or are deployed overseas, and you did not get your absentee ballot as requested,
Right.
and you can prove that you actually requested one. So that's also a question. Whether did you put a stamp on it?
That's right.
Did you actually mail it?
And you have to put a copy of your driver's license or whatever
Did
ID
you
you
do
have in there.
any of that? If you did and
Yeah.
you did not get it, then say something. Go to your CO, go to your immediate supervisor in the military and file a complaint, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Do you know one of my postmaster friends was still picking up ballots yesterday that people were mailing out? And they're driving them all over North Carolina if they're within the state to make sure they get there.
Wow.
But he picked up 2 for New York, 2 for Tennessee, and 1 for Fort
Really?
Lauderdale, Florida. I mean, why are y'all
Amazing.
waiting till the last minute?
It's a thing.
They're having to send it out express mail to a lot of these out-of-state places.
Social
try to make
media
sure.
entries discredit anything that's submitted. You put it on social media, they discredit everything that's put out there. Okay. We know that. We can't say anything provable happened before or that actual fraud or fraudulent attempts are not happening at this time at bat.
Right.
We don't know. But unless enough verified false ballots are cast to make a difference in the outcome, then it's a moot point. Not to say that the claims should not be investigated and that if proven to have occurred, that someone needs to go to the big house.
Mhm.
Just saying that it will take a lot of fake votes to make a difference in the outcome of the presidential election. If you're at a polling place, any of them, if you're going from place to place today, whether you're voting, campaigning behind the do not cross line,
Can't do that.
you can't do
Get in
that.
trouble.
Or you're just observing from your car, give us a call to give us an update on the turnout. I'd like to hear it throughout the next hour and a half or so. We're going to be here. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what the people around you are talking about. 910-333-0139. We've checked the phones this morning. They're actually working.
Everything's working.
One line is working. And where's Doug? He was supposed to be calling in this morning. 910-333-0139. We can still only take one call at a time, but I'm a lot closer. And it may be this time next week we will be able to open up both of our phone lines. Just stand by for that. One small step for man, one huge leap for mankind.
That news story I was talking about, this is what it said. Republican lawmakers demand answers from the Pentagon after military service members complain they have not received enough absentee ballots to vote for Election Day. Now, what is wrong with that last part of the sentence?
Enough? Are they mailing them wholesale mailing them or what?
They
Is that
have
what they
not
expect?
received enough absentee ballots to vote before Election Day. First of all, you don't send absentee ballots
In mass.
and each individual's ballot is not going to be the same. So
No.
that tells you right there the
Something's
news story
wrong.
is stupid.
Yeah, it's either the news story is stupid or their lack of information is typical.
That's right.
Our very own Kelly is out there. She's doing a little pole dancing today, and we expect that she'll be checking in over the next couple of hours. We may have to give her a call just to make sure she's on top of things. Maybe she hasn't gotten
She's
up yet.
still at home making bacon and eggs.
Is she?
It's not
Oh,
telling
okay.
you.
So the honeymoon's over.
It's too early to go out right now.
Yeah.
Well, no, I would have been out there.
Yeah, love can last you about 2 weeks after the wedding, right?
What?
Then after a wedding, after you get married, love lasts about 2 weeks. Then you got to have some bacon and eggs. It doesn't. You can live off love for 2 weeks.
I'm just not even going there.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
All right, now let's go ahead and take a little bit of a weather break here.
Yes.
And do that because we do have some things we're going to talk about in addition to Holy
Weather.
today.
You need to talk. Oh, yeah, you've got a story on the weather here after we do the regular
on
weather.
the weather.
Yes.
Yeah, the weather out
It's
here.
an X story. It's the X story.
The X story.
You posted it yesterday on Facebook. The X story. X is in the ocean. Boy, you just do you need a tap on the head?
I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
At least it's not a triple X story this time.
True.
Rain forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services of
Yes.
Jacksonville. Politics can bring out the worst in people. We know that, and can cause a lot of unwarranted stress. And it doesn't just vanish after an election. We all know about that. But this time of year, with the approaching holidays, Thanksgiving's right around the corner. I like that one. There should be no stress because all you do is cook and eat. With a new year right around the corner, with the pressures of gift giving, with families getting together and trying to be nice or at least civil, the hustle and bustle of just going to the store for your daily needs, that's enough pressure to test anyone.
It's pressure to go into the grocery store. Stressful.
Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville encourages you to take it easy. Take a chill pill. Sit back and relax. Don't overload your plate. I'm talking about food now. Overload it all you want with food, or you can deal with that later. Don't overload what you have to do and get done so that it stresses you out. That's not a good thing. Don't try and compete when it comes to friends and family. That's, to me, I've seen that way too often. For estranged family, and it could be something you make, something
That's
you find
right.
that's, oh my God, this is something I guarantee he or she's going to like this. It's something that reminds me of them. For estranged families, those units where parents are no longer together, some guidelines to deal with the most vulnerable members, the children, should be agreed on in advance. Y'all work it out. Parents, grandparents, uncles, and aunts, none should try to outshine the others. If you're feeling the pressure before the holidays arrive and you're having problems coping, why not arrange to meet with a counselor at Community Prevention Services? Prevention, a key word. Get some help first. You know it's going to happen, right? So get some help first. No doubt, there's nothing that they haven't dealt with before at Community Prevention Services. For your peace of mind and to make the holidays really joyous ones, regardless of any underlying circumstances, call Community Prevention Services today. Set up an appointment. Hopefully, it'll make everyone, regardless of the issues, a little more at ease. 910-353-0972. That's 910-353-0972. Offshore today, small craft advisory remains in effect through late tonight. Winds are going to be from the southeast, 10 to 15 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. 6-foot waves coming from the southeast every 9 seconds. They're far apart, but they're kind of big. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Tomorrow, winds out of the south 5 to 10, seas coming down 4 to 5 feet, but 5-foot waves from the southeast every 9 seconds. Again, sounds and rivers a light chop. Thursday, southeasterly winds 5 to 10, seas 3 to 5 feet, 4-foot waves from the southeast 8 seconds apart. They're getting a lot better by Thursday. Sounds and rivers a light chop.
And the election day, mostly sunny with a high near 79. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 60. Wednesday, partly sunny with a high near 82. And Thursday, a chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a high near 78.
Okay, we got to do a makeup commercial here.
Yes, we do.
And this, let's just put it out there like this. This is probably the last on here political ad you're going to hear this year.
Unless there's a runoff. Don't say that. You just jinxed
They
it.
cannot have runoffs in our general election.
You just jinxed everything. No, I don't think so.
I will say that
just
unless there's going to be we have screwed this election up so bad that the Supreme Court has decided we're going to do it all over again. I'm just kidding. We'll be right back.
I am Robin Knapp, the current Vice Chairman of the Onslow County Board of Commissioners. I would appreciate your vote on November 5th. I am known to speak my mind candidly, truthfully, and bluntly on issues that affect everyone within our county, regardless of political affiliation. religious beliefs, gender, race. I am not afraid to tackle tough issues like lowering our tax rate and appropriate funding for our EMS, firefighters, public safety, mental health, and domestic abuse issues. I fully support our county employees, and I feel this is a staff that is the glue that holds Onslow County together. I have shown strong and consistent leadership, will not be influenced by others, and I will vote my conscience always in the best interest and not for a particular group, regardless of rhetoric. I love Onslow County and her citizens, and I appreciate your vote and support. May God bless America, Onslow County, and all of you. Vote to re-elect Robin Knapp for commissioner, a voice for the citizens. Paid for by the committee to re-elect.
Appreciate all of the people who have stepped up to the plate to run for election, who
Yes,
have
we do.
elected, who've chosen to serve in whatever capacity they can. We're so lucky here in Onslow County. We have a number of individuals currently on the board, and
Yes.
those who have been on the board in the past, those who
Mhm.
continue to serve in various capacities. They may be retired, but
Right.
they ain't done. They're still working. Many of the ones that we have, both our city council, county commission, and some of our surrounding towns around here and other counties, they got individuals who are prior military,
Yes.
prior law
Law
enforcement. I don't know whether I've seen any
Our school administrators,
events. We got school officials,
school teachers. Yes.
from teachers to principals to all sorts of folks.
I just want to
appreciate
say
that.
we have all our candidates running this election are good people,
Oh, they are.
and even both sides. And I really appreciate that. I'm getting an echo. Is it
I
what's
don't
going on?
know. Is
I
it
don't
between the ears? I'm not hearing it.
It could be my headphones.
Are you still hearing your computer?
No, I turned it
Obviously.
off. It's just I don't. It could be my headphones.
Okay.
But anyway,
We've got good people running. We've
Yes, we
had
do.
good people in the past serving. Some are retired. Some just decided not to run again. They just, got other things to do. We've got people in this community that have served. I'm not going to mention a name, but one who retired as law enforcement. Okay, 30 years or whatever it was,
right.
and then served with an elected board here for 200 or 300 years, I think.
Would that be the county commissioners?
It was the county.
Yeah.
The county committee. We're privileged to have people like that who continue. They don't have the big head.
Right.
They just have a desire. And so many folks, militaries, teachers, medical folks. Even in our 3rd congressional district level, we've got a doctor. My God,
Right.
it's a surgeon. We
yes.
have people from all walks of life who represent us throughout, and many of them with their prior work history are they understand.
Right.
Let's take law enforcement. That's because I'm kind of familiar with that.
Right.
People who have been out at all times of the day and night, they see their communities, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because they're out there. They're out there 7 days a week. Not always the same 7 days, but sometimes they do work. They will end up working every day, every week
Right.
at some point in time.
Yes. I'm gonna tell
Christmas,
you for
all holidays, they work.
yes.
They don't, things don't take a holiday when you're in that kind of a business.
Past and present, everyone that we've had elected has brought something to the table,
Yeah.
and I appreciate every single one of them. And for those running now, whether it's re-election or first time, thank you for throwing yourself out there and doing what you do. And best of luck to everybody. And we'll see where it all falls.
And Eastern North Carolina, we're even luckier, not just here, but all over Eastern North Carolina. We're very lucky that we have a lot of individuals who have served. They've taken that oath of office.
Yes.
In addition to any political jobs they may have had, they've taken that oath of office. Everything from law enforcement to our military,
Right.
they take an oath.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction right now.
Uh-oh.
Josh Stein is going to take governor.
Oh, we got that done. That's
Yes.
a done deal.
Yeah, I'm writing it down this time because
I'm not a Josh Stein fan.
Right.
Do that 3 times in a row. I'm not a Josh fan at all, but not anything to do with him personally. I don't even know the man, But
Yeah.
as his job as Attorney General, he has been a do-nothing
He sucked.
because I've reached out to him several years, different occasions, and got a canned response. Just a canned reply.
I reached out and got nothing.
Well, I got something from his office that he didn't even know he sent, I'm sure.
Okay.
You don't have any echoes
Much
in your
better. What's that?
Do you have any
that.
echoes in your ear?
I don't know. For some reason, it just sounds different. But it's okay. I'm good.
Did you take your meds this morning?
Maybe
I
not.
don't think so. Okay, let's blow up some stuff.
Oh, let's blow up some stuff. You know what?
You wanna
One thing
lock the
we
door?
haven't talked about lately is local stuff.
Yeah, well, we got it.
Yes.
Lock the door, load the guns. I got the hammer out.
That one really scares me.
This is not a people hammer. This is a computer hammer.
I could have used that when I knocked out some walls at the house.
Well, let me go back to the computer stuff for you folks for just a minute, because I don't like computers so much. I have to use them
Right.
because it's kind of like I don't like sledgehammers, but I have to use one every now and then. This is not a sledgehammer; it's only a 4-pounder. But computers, they're great. And unfortunately, some of the stuff that's designed for computers, designed by individuals, and some of those people have not a clue what they're doing, in my personal opinion. Hardware, there's software, there's hardware. Hardware being the actual computer themselves, the terminals, the electronics, the stuff that goes in it. Software is something I can't see. So I have the other part I can see it, I can grasp it, I can whatever. But yesterday brought out something that I should have. I thought about it when I hooked it all up here a few years ago. But when you get a network internet coming into your house, where the server comes in twisted pair, that's known as a telephone line. That's what we used to call it. You got a telephone bringing in your internet stuff, or you got a cable from, in this case around here, Spectrum cable. They've got a MetroNet now, and I think I'm not sure how it gets to wherever. I have not looked into it, except that too many negatives for me. But I'll wait to see. But in this case, you got cable coming in that also brings your television signal coming in, if you so choose, and then it goes directly into your TV for the cable for your TV stuff.
Correct.
Then you got a modem. That's the thing that you plug one of the coax cables into as well, a splitter type. Comes out of your modem, several possibilities. Of course, is what they call a Wi-Fi. No,
Yes.
not Wi-Fi. Take that back. It is, but I'll get to that in just a second. One of them is you can plug cables into it to plug into your computer. They're called Ethernet cables.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like an overgrown telephone cable.
Right.
Right? It won't fit. Your telephone cables don't fit. They're too little. So you run these cables. A lot of folks call them Cat 5 cables. Well, I think they've advanced beyond that now. They're in Cat 6 or 7 or whatever. But anyway, an Ethernet cable. So you plug that into your box, your modem box. Then you plug that other end into your cable on your computer or other device. Okay, got it. No problem. But also these boxes, these modems, many of them, they come with a Wi-Fi. Hot dang, so you can get it wirelessly. You don't have to run a cable. That's advantageous to a lot of people, especially if you're going to have a half dozen laptops in your house. Like around here, my wife's got hers. I've got one. Lee's got one. Kelly's got one. I think that's the only laptop we've got online at any given time. Well, maybe one more or two. And then Robbie, of course, has all of the lights and all of the automatic devices, all the garage door opener. She's got all of this stuff on a secured Wi-Fi. That's what they call it.
Yes.
That's the wireless stuff. Unfortunately, in the modems that you get, there is, I think, a life expectancy. Because after a period of time, every one that I've had, that suddenly just quits. Or yesterday when I checked it when we were that's when I found out that the Wi-Fi in my computer, the Facebook computer, was not wired in. Shame on me.
It happens.
Okay? I knew better. Everything else in here is wired, except your laptops. But then when I checked yesterday, when we were having the troubles, I was getting, you remember what the dial-up speed used to be?
It was like
64 kilobytes, if you were lucky.
Right.
Kilobytes.
You had to sit there, listen
Not
to it, wait
megabytes.
for it. Kilobytes.
Kilobytes are 1,000 bytes. Megabytes is a million.
I'll bring up a good point real quick.
So whatever was going on, when that goes dead, now you want to fix that in the beginning.
Right.
Also, by the way, for the internet stuff that is in your company supplied modem,
Right.
they can control the output, the speed of it, anytime they want to from their end. Now, if you go to the good old store and buy a quality wireless router, one that you buy, you own, and nobody's got control over it anywhere. And then you plug the output of your router, the one into the input of your wireless router, then it always stays the same speed. Whatever the speed coming in is the speed going out. Now, as you get further from that router, the lower, the less you're going to have. That's just the way it is. You have to have a really strong one if you're going to be far away from it, or multiple units, such as a mesh system. If you want to invest in one, you'll like it. MESH. That doesn't go bad so often.
Well, I will say that yesterday, when I'm at home, I've got my television going, my laptop
Which is
going.
connected to the internet.
Yes, what the TV is. My laptop is wireless. My printer, the two printers are wireless. My security alarm service is wireless. My telephone, of course, my cell phone is wireless.
Well,
and I'm trying to think.
Oh, yeah, you do have it connected to your Wi-Fi, don't you?
Well, it picks up on the Wi-Fi. Now,
when you're at home.
Yeah, I can take it off at that and get regular. But I was thinking about all the things that I have, like all the other televisions in my house that work wireless too. So yesterday I noticed my laptop was acting up. So I did a speed test, and I have the up to the 400 MPS, whatever it is, speed. And it was registering about 9 on my laptop.
Yeah, this one in here yesterday was 18.
Yes. And so, if you go and you plug it in to the router, like you said, using the cable, it sells. But, and that's another thing that I've noticed with the companies, like we'll just throw Spectrum out there, throw them under the bus.
There's one of many. It's not just them. It's all of them.
They're constantly wanting you to buy higher speeds, higher speeds, higher speeds. Well, the thing about it is you can buy higher speeds, but if you've got all this stuff running that's wireless, it's still going to lag a little bit. I don't worry about the laptop.
And then there's the neighborhood you live in.
That's right.
If you've got 300 neighbors living within a mile of you,
right,
and they're all on one big old cable drop coming in, when they're all on at the same time, oh my goodness gracious.
Yes.
Slow.
Yeah, you have to be
diligent,
right? And if you find, okay, let's talk about printers. I had a printer. Time I went to print on it, it was offline, and I had to reset it because it would lose its wireless capabilities. Yeah. It was aggravating, and then other things happened. So you gave me a printer.
It does the same thing.
Big printer, and it does everything. And I finally got it working, printed out some stuff. But every time I went back, it was like cannot connect, or it not connected to the internet and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm like, got another printer because I needed one right away. But I went back and I hardwired the printer you gave me to the router.
Works great.
Now,
let me give you a little. If you get if you ever do get another printer like you've gotten,
right,
go ahead and into your print setup, make sure that printer is not available to anybody else.
Right.
In other words, if you did not remove me from it, I can drive by and sit in front of your house and use all your paper.
Yeah, I know it. That's a whole nother issue too.
So, if you buy something used from somebody else, make sure you delete all of their junk from it.
Right.
In other words, you're going to be really dragging.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go ahead. Where's that grenade? Is the pin still in it?
It's behind the telephone. Yes, pin's still in it.
I've heard about this for a while, but I had a story its way into the public sector over the weekend here at Onslow.
Yes.
Got a news release from the
Ooh.
Onslow County government last Friday night. Friday night document dumps? I don't know. It just happens. Seems like there's a shakeup in the making with the Emergency Services Division.
Surprising.
The release stated forthright that Assistant County Manager Janelle Galloway is currently overseeing operations at Emergency Services. Her daily chore is making sure that normal operations are maintained while an investigation unfolds. Ruh-roh. The Board of County Commissioners, according to the release, has as its primary goal seeing improvements made to the entire emergency services system. That's according to the news release. The board has taken the bull by the horns to get to the bottom of some issues that have been discussed behind closed doors sometimes for quite a while. Cape Lookout Leadership Solutions and Berry, B-E-R-R-Y, Dunn consulting firms have been working specifically with emergency services staff to identify better ways to provide service and, listen up, improve the culture within the system. These studies have revealed significant areas of needed improvement within the emergency services system.
Mm-hmm.
We've been hearing rumblings of issues that have concerned county leaders for quite a while now. I've heard it for over a year. Starting at the top and extending through an undisclosed number of supervisory positions, there have been questions about the leadership. I said it. All right. I said it. Those matters have been discussed throughout the county government for quite some time, at least a year. Unfortunately, here's where things really got screwed up. During that time, one or two wild card individuals at various levels were irritating the problem and interfering with the abilities to conduct a thorough and impartial investigation. One of those is no more as of December 1st.
An elected official?
Uh-huh. Not sure how long it will take to resolve the problems, but there are likely going to be some personnel changes in the future, the near future. Okay. I'm going to do whatever I can to get some time reserved with upper management in our county government when some conclusions are reached. Don't want to even I don't want to get involved in the investigation. That's not proper. We don't need to do that. But in case y'all were wondering, I know everybody out there, not everybody, some of you are caught with your feet flat, but there have been a lot of talk. So yes, something is in the works. They're working on it. They're doing something about it. And hopefully they will have all of this resolved shortly.
I just hate to see it. I hate to see it.
I'm glad that it's happening if there were issues. So let's get to the bottom of what the issues are. We got to see how these issues have impacted not only the personnel in the county, but the public. There are 300. How many people do we have living in this county?
Well, having an effect on emergency operations. That's a problem.
So enough of that. I'm glad they're doing something about it. I'm glad they got this team in here. And by the way, I've looked at this team and they are outstanding.
Are we paying for a special team to come in?
No, we are. These are paid professionals out there, which is probably a good thing. We've selected the right people.
Unbiased.
They come with great credentials. I've seen that, so I know that good things are happening. So that.
Well, wow, my goodness. Where are we? It's not coming through this phone.
Apparently it is somewhere over the line. Good morning.
Hey, do you know how many people are in the 910 population?
910? I have no idea.
Isn't that your guys' area code, 910?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
one of our area codes, yes.
I mean, I just haven't looked specifically at the population. That's not one of the numbers I keep in the top of my head. So, sorry.
So there's 1.2 million people in
Okay.
your area.
All right. That's a lot of folks.
So these are the folks that are voting today, correct?
Well, not all of them. We say there are, what, 4 or 5 area codes in North Carolina.
Yes,
So
and
in
then
North
people take their
Carolina-
numbers with them, so.
Yeah, in North Carolina, there are 910 area code. That's
919, 252.
252, 686, 704, and I think there's another one. So North Carolina is broken up. It's kind of like, you're from what state are you in? I know
Right.
you're Charlie. I can't remember what's your home state.
Wasn't
Hey,
it?
I called you to do your show the other day, yesterday, and I was very obnoxious. I thought it was another show. I was going to destroy another show.
Oh,
I
God.
apologize.
Well, go ahead and destroy the other show. We enjoy that.
No, I like your show. I like your show. I
Okay.
like your show.
All right, well, good. Well, destroy the other show. I want to hear you destroy the other show. What would you tell what are they doing that makes you so mad that just we don't want to do the same thing?
Well, I don't know who you guys are, but I think you're basically saying, listen, if you vote properly, we'll accept the vote. But I think we know, or at least we think there's going to be a lot of illegal stuff going on. And that's what I believe. Maybe it's conspiracy, but I genuinely believe how the media in the last 10 years has basically said, like CNN and the liberal media has basically said this guy's racist, he's Hitler, he's this, he's that. They basically are saying he's a monster. They're not biased.
Uh-huh.
So my point is, I just, hopefully people, when they vote today, they basically, so let me ask you something. What do you think the outcome of today's vote will be? Do you think that Trump will win, or do you think the Harris team will win?
Well, if you listen to the polls, if you pay any attention to the polls, about half of the people who vote today are going to be mad. The other half are going to be happy. So it's going to be kind of close to being split. If you listen to the polls, the polls are right. So I don't know. I feel like I know what's going to happen in North Carolina. I think North Carolina is going to be probably in the upper half voting for Trump, about 52%. And I think here in Onslow County, where we are, it's going to be closer to 55% voting for
I'm
Trump.
saying 60. So.
It might be 60, but anyway, that's what I'm looking at. Nationwide, I don't know because I don't get the. I see what's on the news, but having spent 400 years as a television news director, today's news coverage is not like it used to be.
Not at all.
They're pulling facts and figures out of the air. They're doing with suppositions. I didn't do that. I did not let my team do that. But that's the way things work today. So I cannot count on what I'm seeing in the mass media. Does that make any sense to you?
It does. Let me ask you guys a question. I'm not sure if you guys look very young. Maybe you have children or grandchildren.
I appreciate that. I have a
This guy,
child.
I like this guy.
Okay, so if you guys have, let's say you have grandchildren, have they expressed their opinions and who they're going to vote for? And when you listen to them, do you say to yourself, they're clueless, or do you say to yourself, you know what, I agree with them? Go ahead.
Lee, you've talked to your grandchild.
My grandchild, since she started college, has been snatched by the liberals. And of course, in high school, too, she had teachers that were very liberal in their views. And so she knows her grandmother's going to kick her rear end, but she has a completely different view of politics from what the older generation has. So, and I blame that on her education, where she's been. At Topsail Middle School, when she was going there, she was coming out and telling me all these stories, and I'm like, who's telling you this? My teacher. I was ready to go down there. Well, I thought, it's the parents' choice to do that, but At college, where she goes to college, they got the students to change their residential address from their home of record, like in Hampstead,
Yeah,
to an address there in Boone, North Carolina.
yeah, I know. They do that.
So I went on there and checked to make sure that she was still listed as the correct party affiliation, which she is. But that's how they're pushing these kids these days. Crazy.
But don't you guys have a responsibility as individuals that kind of understand the negatives and the positives and how human beings work? To basically listen, they're going to plant seeds in your brain. You have to listen for yourself. They're going to tell you stuff that they want you to hear.
Yes.
I mean, no disrespect. Maybe I'm not sure.
I'm not sure whether you're talking to us as have we talked to our children and grandchildren about this and articulated to them?
Have you basically told them that they're being indoctrinated? Have you
To be honest with you, I have one child, a daughter, and she's a grown adult, and I have one grandchild, and she is an adult. Will be 21 in just a couple of months. My God, that's scary. But and she votes. She votes her conscience. She votes her mind. And the conversations that we have around the dinner table we try to limit the political conversations, because quite often when we have family, not just the five of us, but we have a number of other family members gathering together at the same time. And that's not really the place at Thanksgiving or Christmas
we don't do it
for
either.
Politics. Because it can get ugly, and I do have some liberal thinking individuals. My wife tells folks that I lean a little to the right of Attila the Hun, but I don't know what that means. I'm just trying to figure it out. But I am conservative, and my wife's conservative, but she is more towards the middle. She was an educator for all of these years until she retired in higher education, but she's not a left-leaning individual whatsoever. In fact, one of the first things that she did not long after we got married some years ago, she said, I think I want to get my concealed carry permit. So she did.
But we have so many things.
So let me ask you
morning.
this. Hold on. Did you take that call?
No, I don't.
No.
So let me ask you this. Are you guys going to broadcast throughout the day? Because I'd like to call them later. Or are you just going to do a show for the next hour or two, then you're over?
Well, we're over for today during our show at 9 o'clock Eastern. So that's the way that will be.
I think you guys should do a show.
But hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. During the day, we're probably not going to be doing anything, because there's really nothing to talk about during the day except what we're talking about now. But this evening, after the polls close, we're going to come on. How long we're going to stay, I don't know, through at least the local returns and see how things are going around the country. Of course, all the polls will not be closed until 10:30 tonight. I think, 10:30 tonight. Well, actually, Hawaii is closed after that.
Well, we may have a winner by then, though.
Yeah, well, we could be. But so we will be doing some analysis, if you want to call it that, or just talking about it, just general chit chat about it, and people are welcome to call in. So if you tune in Facebook tonight, sometime after 7:30 Eastern, and you see us on the air live, feel free to call. How's that?
So for what it's worth, I call into 90 shows and I hate every one of them. I like you guys.
Oh,
So
thank you.
I
We
will-
appreciate that.
I called in earlier this morning. I got the wrong show confused. So listen, you guys have a great day. I
You
like
too.
you guys' show, and I'll call in later. Take care.
Charlie, thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Bye. He calls in how many shows?
He is quite a
90
few.
different shows?
Good Lord.
Wow.
Well, that's nice that he has
And
time
he hates
for
all
us.
of them except us. So that's good. Thank you, Charlie. Maybe we're doing something right, or maybe we're the only ones doing something wrong. I don't know. Whatever. Just glad to be liked.
Do you remember back when the 2020 election, excuse me, when Trump was running and he got into it with a Fox anchor, Megyn Kelly?
Yeah.
Do you know she came out last night on stage at his rally
Did she?
and gave her, she is completely flipped. I mean, flipped from not liking him to
She
supporting him.
lost everything that she had going.
Well, she's got her own podcast now. She's doing, I love
Yeah,
listening to her because
I
she
don't
tells it
listen to
like it is. But then Joe Rogan, he's the number one podcaster in the nation,
Oh, good.
and he has never endorsed anyone openly before.
Mhm.
He endorsed Trump last
Oh,
night.
my.
I'm just like, oh, God, this is crazy.
Probably too little, too late.
Well,
So we'll have to wait and see.
yes.
910-333-0139. Let's see if we can reach out to Kelly. Can you
Well,
dial
she's
her?
been texting me.
Donna, can you dial her number over there?
Let me see if
If she's
she's even
available.
at the polls yet.
What?
Well, I told you
Today's
she was
over.
probably
It's an hour and a
making
half
bacon
over
and
voting.
eggs.
They only got, what, 9.5 hours to go? Or 11 and a half hours to go? Whatever it is. If you have not voted, you're a registered voter, wherever you are, you're a registered voter. It's time to go to the polls. If you have not already voted
Right.
early, let's get her done. Because, and I'm not telling you to vote one way or the other.
Right.
Vote your conscience, look at whatever's going on. If you vote based upon the polls, you're vote on the issues. Forget what the polls say, and because we've already discussed it, we had at length yesterday. Of course, we weren't on very much yesterday, so we'll discuss it again today. Polls are odd.
Right.
Pollsters are weird. I've had to deal with polls and pollsters in the past, and at one time you could kind of count on several polls for various issues across the country, and as we did in TV, we actually did polls, but we use reliable companies to do it.
Well, I want to ask you something. I just had a listener wants me to ask you on election night when you're sitting in the studio, was it the normal thing to have pizza delivered?
Absolutely.
There.
For the people who were
Are we
working-
getting pizza tonight?
Nope.
Come on.
The,
I feel slighted.
for the TV crews out there, you never know, but I might just cook for ourselves.
There you go.
So which would you rather, cold pizza?
Hey, I love cold pizza. Nothing is showing on this phone, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, we got some kind of phone issue, so I'll get that fixed later on.
Get that fixed.
Good morning. Who's this? Hello.
Can you hear me?
I got you
Yes,
loud and
we
clear.
can.
Hey, it is Doug in the very swing New Hanover County. How are you today?
Doug, you're an hour late. I've been waiting for you breathlessly. I had to stop the presses 3 times expecting you to be calling.
Mhm.
I know you compete with my snooze alarm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's Rayford.
My God, you're getting up so early in the morning. Gee. Have you
I
voted
know,
yet?
but I voted. Yes, I voted early.
How many times?
Even just once.
Oh, okay.
Waited in line about 45 minutes. This was on day 3, I think of. It was the Friday of the first week of early voting. I think it was on day 2, and we had a good turnout. I feel very good. If we would have talked a week ago, I think things would have been up in the air. But I think it's going to be. I don't even think it's going to be remotely close. When I look at these, the polls have been close throughout the race, but it's going to break one way today.
Mhm.
And my heart, just by when I look at the number of women, how women are outperforming men, I think she's going to have a very good night today.
Okay, let me ask you this now. Let's go back in history to our history a little bit. Back to 2000 ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple people running for president at that time, right? And early on, I'm talking about during the primary season, during the early time. And you were running around and you were supporting one individual saying she was going to be the great savior. Is that correct?
No.
Yeah, you did, because you put a bumper sticker on my car.
I
Oh,
put
wait a
a bumper sticker on your car for fun. I was never,
We're talking
I
about
was never,
Hillary.
Yeah,
a
he was.
huge supporter of her.
Well, I don't care what kind of lies he tells right now. Back in the day, he was a pro-Hillary person.
Mhm.
He even had a mask with Hillary on it.
Okay.
Okay. No, anyway. Yeah, and then comes 2012. Obama's going to run again. Who were you supporting then?
Well, I was supporting Obama.
Okay. And then in 2016,
Well,
you
Bernie.
you predicted that Hillary was going to win, though, right?
I'm sure, I predicted she was going to win, but I was supporting Bernie.
I understand
Yeah.
that. So you're the reason that Hillary did not win because you voted for Bernie.
Oh.
Posse out, if you want to blame me, sure.
See how you work this thing, right? So,
Yeah.
and the pollsters back in 2016, they pretty much across the board were doing what the pollsters seem to be doing of late and calling it fairly close, but Hillary was going to win in 2016, according to the polls, correct?
That's, you went into election night. Yeah, everyone knows that. You went into election night in 2016, and I think most people thought, on both sides, by the way, that Hillary was going to win that.
Sure. Didn't work out that way, did it?
It did not.
Okay. So you're thinking that today, 8 years later, that the polls are going to show, the polls are showing that, according to you, that Ms. Harris is going to be the next president.
No. I think the polls are showing it's very close. What says it to me is the early voting numbers. Here's the thing you got to remember about polls: is polling is not just calling up people and saying how you voting. That's part of doing a poll. The big part of doing a poll is figuring out who is going to vote, and then you build a model based on who you think is going to vote. And every single poll that you've seen, and this is why I'm optimistic. If you're a Trump supporter, you say to yourself, listen, he's outperformed the polls in 2016. He outperformed them in 2020. He'll outperform them again today. That's fine. Where I get my sense of confidence from is the notion that every single poll that has come out, every single one has built a polling model where they said, okay, it's going to be 52 to 48 women. 52 women, 48 men is how it's going to break up. Maybe some said 53, 47, but that's about as high as they went. What we're seeing in the state of North Carolina is women are showing up in early voting, not polls, in actual votes cast, 11% higher than women.
Higher than men, yeah.
Or women are performing out, so it's something like 40, I think it's 46, 45 or something like that, 46, 44, something like that. But women in North Carolina are outperforming 11%.
Well, wait a minute, 46, 45, who are the other people if they're not women or men that are turning out?
I'm doing this, well, I don't know. Well, sometimes they're doing this by name, so there are certain times where you may have a unisex name and you cannot tell who's voting. But so there is another category, but the point being that women on a whole are outperforming men tremendously. And what that says to me, and I've said this all along, is I think abortion and the bigger issue than immigration. That's why I say look at how many women are voting. And I think that tends to be good news for her. Now, we don't know how they voted. These women could come out dramatically for Trump. But if they don't, and if they follow this gender gap that we've been looking at, it's going to be a pretty good night for her.
Wow, you just used the biggest word in the dictionary.
Disagree.
Now, let me just give you a personal thing yesterday. I had to go to the torture chamber, also known as a dentist. Okay, just a routine thing. But so anyway, my hygienist who did the tooth cleaning, she knows, and I don't bring any politics up when I'm in person because I'm you're laying back in a chair. You just don't want to do things like that when they have instruments of death in their hands. So, or pain, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I don't bring up politics. I mean, can't talk anyway. But she went on, and after a while, she said, they tell me that I'm supposed to be voting for a woman. And she said, I've looked at this. I can't do it. I said, okay, fine. I get to the lady who's a dentist. She comes in to do a quick exam to be sure everything else is okay. So she starts talking, but she also knows I'm a diver. So she started talking about where I like to go diving because she's been there since day one, 50 years ago or something. And so she's older. She's as old as I am. She talked about who she's voting for, and it was not Kamala Harris. Okay. And then one more person, a young person, she happened to overhear the dentist talking to him. And she says, I can't vote for her. This was a desk lady, and she was, I'm going to guess 23, 24, something like that. And so there were 3 out of 3 right there who said they were not going to be voting for her. They volunteered. I did not ask not one of them, nor did I engage in conversation with them.
He's going to get 44% of women. It's not like no women are supporting him. He's going to get 44% of women. I would suggest to you that you get a different perspective in New Hanover County than you do in
Well, you get a different
Armstrong.
perspective in New Hanover County for everything. That's just one of 100 counties.
Well, that is true, but it's one of the swing counties. And when you see here, listen, I'm just going by what we know.
Okay.
And what we know is that we've been told there's a gender cap. We've been told that he's winning with men, she's winning with women. And what we're seeing is more women are voting now. To this point, I don't think men can make up an 11-point gap in North Carolina.
Okay, well,
First off, there are more women in the country than there in the world than there are men.
yeah.
But it's okay. So it's overall, I think you'd rather be in her shoes than his shoes. And I'll tell you this:
I don't wear heels.
Mark this down. I think she's going to get 292. And
Ouch.
mark this down, Rayford. She's going to win North Carolina easily. Easily.
I'm going to question you on that one. So we'll wait and
I
see.
know you will, but I'm telling you, when was the last time you were in Brunswick County?
On the border of Brunswick County over the weekend.
Okay, okay, great. If the border meaning the Pender County border or the
No, the New Hanover border.
Okay, if you go further south, what you will see in the time that we work with each other, when Rayford and I worked together, and it is still to this day, Brunswick County was rural GOP country.
Uh-huh.
If you go into Brunswick County now, and if you are familiar with Johnston County, which as Rayford, you'll remember, I was intimately familiar with Johnston County because when I used to have a joint custody, every week I would have to go up to Johnston County to pick up my kid. And in 06, 07, 08, very rural area.
Yep.
Those two areas have exploded in growth.
I'm aware of that.
Okay, especially in southern Brunswick County. You know the town of Ash, North Carolina?
I do.
You and I, when we worked together, I don't think we ever did a story in Ash, North Carolina, because nobody lives in Ash, North Carolina. They're now building a neighborhood of 4,000 homes in Ash, North Carolina. Point being is that's where all the growth are happening. Trump is still going to win these counties. Last time he won them 62 to whatever. But he's not going to get 62. There's been too much growth.
Okay.
He may win at 57.
All right.
So she's going to nip into his. She's going to win North Carolina. There's 500,000 new voters in North Carolina who moved here from somewhere else in 2020, and they came from places like New York and New Jersey. And she's going to win the state.
I was in New Hanover County over the past month, I guess like 3 times, and driving through with billboards and all the signs and all that sort of good stuff. I did not expect to see a significant number of Trump signs, political signs, to be honest with you. I saw a bunch, probably closer to 50-50 than I expected to see. I expected to see about 90-10, to be honest with you, because New Hanover County, even when I was there up until 2010, it was, leaning heavily in the opposite direction from the rest of eastern North Carolina. But again, that was one county, and it's also the smallest county in the state. Yes, it's a populous county, and I'm waiting for some numbers to be populated here on a piece of paper that Lee's doing rapidly because she's the statistician in the group. She likes to look up numbers.
You know what I have not seen like I did in the last 2 cycles? I haven't seen people driving around with their Trump flags on the back of their trucks. I haven't seen these. You used to see, in fact, we had one between us, someplace in Pender County. You used to see roadside Trump stores, not stores, but some guy on the side of the road
selling flags, yes.
Yeah. You don't see those anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen them either.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, you're right. It's a different election than either 2016 or 2018. What I wanted to ask Lee, though.
Yes.
Lee, how are you? It's been a while.
I'm doing good, Doug. I hope you are too.
She's still single, Doug.
Really well.
In case
you have the background of doing this on a county level.
Yes.
I have heard that there are troubles in the quote unquote Trump ground game, that they outsourced it, and I'm just wondering, did they outsource it to the local county leaders, or have you seen? Because part of this is for Trump to win, he's got to make sure that his voters get to the polls today. These are folks who maybe don't vote. They love Trump and they'll show up for Trump for anything, but you've got to remind them and get them to the polls. What do you know about their ground operation, the get out the vote mechanism? Do they have one in North Carolina?
Yes, they've been working on that really hard over the last couple of years. So I don't know where you heard that, but no, that's not true. The Republican Party across the state has constant gatherings and special events, and Trump's been here.
He was in Kinston Sunday.
Yes, he was.
Weird.
And they also have that is Trump campaign team that actually works for Trump, headquartered in Raleigh. They put a team in each state, and they pay people to go out there. You know, they put them on the payroll to go out there and knock on doors and stuff. So no, it's been very prominent among the state.
What I am hearing, and I think you can Google this and see if I'm right, that what they decided to do was to spend money on I think his legal defense fund, and they moved money from their ground operation and they outsourced it and hired Charlie Kirk, or this young kid. They outsourced it to somebody else. I'm just, if that's true. Today, as you know, you've been there before. Today is when you cash in on all the canvassing and all the door knocking you've done. You've identified people who may need a ride to the polls. You've identified your supporters. You've identified the people that you're going to be calling today, saying, "Hey, Mary Lou, just making sure you got out to vote." In a close election like this, whatever party has knocked on the most doors has a huge advantage, in my opinion.
I don't know whether I would agree with that or not. I think people pretty much had made up their mind after the primary, and they're going to go no matter what is said about whatever candidate, whatever that candidate has or hasn't done, what party hasn't or hasn't put out the work. I think people have pretty much made up their mind.
If he loses, will you accept it?
Oh, I mean, why not?
I accepted it before.
It is what it is.
If I had been a Republican, I would have been that rhino Republican, because I accepted it on day one. I knew it right away. It was a done deal. Now get over it, y'all. Don't be stupid. But they were stupid. They didn't listen to me. They're not the first people not to listen to me. You know that.
Will he accept it?
No. Yeah, he might this time, honestly, because he was blasted so bad last time. And it
Well, it's done. If he loses, it's done and over with. You know what? He's already said he's not going to run again. So
here's something I hadn't thought about, but think it out loud. If he had accepted it, had gone his merry way, had just said,
He would win this thing.
Thank you very much. Exactly where I was going, because Biden has screwed things up so bad, mainly because he's Biden. And everybody has tried to protect him and deny that he's got all these issues, right? But he could have walked into that office this time around, spent $200 and won.
Right.
Yeah, but there
it's Biden. I mean, that's Trump.
Yes, and I agree with you on that. I think there are four. And by the way, even though I'm saying she's going to win today, what I'm really predicting is that Trump lost this thing more than anything else. Well, and where I think he primarily lost it on January 6th, had he just conceded, saying, "Listen, I don't agree with this, but the courts have ruled. I'll see you in 4 years," he would win today. He didn't do that.
Well, I have to agree with that totally, completely. Okay. I mean, he blew that one. He blew it bad.
He secondarily lost this, I think, in when Roe was overturned. I think that was. I think that ever since then we've seen an insurge in all these elections for the Democrats. And thirdly, I think he lost it when he picked J.D. Vance, because he was saying, "Listen, I'm going to go for the male vote." And I think if he picked, whether it's, well, he couldn't pick the woman from South Dakota once it got out that she shot her dog. But if he would have picked a female, he would have been in much better shape. But
I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that part.
I think we females take offense to that.
Yeah,
I do, because
I've had some others say the same thing.
Because it's a female running, I'm supposed to vote for her. That offends me. I'm going to vote for who I think is the best.
A Democrat female
care
Democrat
less.
told me that the other day, a couple of weeks back.
Yes.
Said, you know what?
Most of us
just
females-
because I don't have the same stuff
That's right.
you got does not mean I've got to vote for her.
That's right. And
So-
let me tell you, all right, this is Onslow County, New Hanover County, Brunswick County, and the total state numbers for the 2012,
Yeah, here's some numbers here.
2016, 2020, 2024 races, the general election, right? Females were the top vote getters in all of those.
Top voters or top vote getters?
Top
Top voters.
voters, right? They were the top voters.
Okay.
Because there are more females.
That's
Do you have the numbers in front of you? Lee?
yes. Well, I didn't write down the numbers, but I can look them up real quick. Why?
Okay. If you look at I think it was 2020. Look at 2020.
2020. Are we talking about North Carolina?
Just North
All
Carolina.
right, let me go to 2020.
I'm doing this off the top of my head. I don't have this in front of me now.
You will in a second.
All right,
Okay, but I think Biden won women by 6 points. Okay, you're right. Women showed up more. Biden won them by 6.
Well, it doesn't break down as to what woman voted what way. It just shows gender. 2,371,096 women voted, and to compare to the 1,884 men.
1 million.
1 million. I have to keep doing that.
know it.
1,884,294. Of course, you know what gets me? I mean, you can't decide if you're a woman or male or female. Saying. But yeah, it doesn't break it down into how many were Democrats and how many were Republicans. So I'm just saying that state of North Carolina has always been a bigger turnout for the women. So just because the women are leading right now does not mean that, oh, we're voting for Kamala.
What were the what have been as of Saturday night? What did the female turnout versus the male turnout in North Carolina early voting?
In North Carolina early voting, okay, 1 second
So
here,
we're
and I
going
will
to take that one.
give
on for
you
just a
the
second, Doug.
figures.
Yeah, I think it's, and I can tell you, I'm looking it up, and anyone can do this. All you have to do is go to Wikipedia and just search the 2020 North Carolina
2024.
We go to
All right.
we go to the state.
2020. Let me give you the numbers for 2020, and it was. I'm looking at them right now. Biden won women by 6, and if you look at early voting, I have up until it ended on noon on Saturday.
3 o'clock on
You have-
Saturday.
They can't break that down yet because those numbers are not released yet. Early
Well,
voting,
they-
the ballot goes into the machine, but it's not run and totaled until 7:30 tonight
Correct.
in North Carolina. So you can show that
How many were Republicans?
how
that
many
voted?
Republicans and Democrats and how many were females, but you can't show who they voted for.
Correct.
You don't have those
No,
figures
we
yet.
don't know. Yeah, we don't know who they voted for. We know the numbers.
Point. I don't
We
understand
don't know
your
who they-
point.
So
Here are the numbers currently. 4.4 million people have voted in North Carolina.
Right.
It breaks down women 55, 44. Again,
Right.
we don't know how these women voted, and I'm
Correct.
operating out of the assumption that with women he does better with men. That's what I think the campaigns are operating under, that assumption. So it's 55-44. That's an 11-point difference up until Saturday. When Biden, 4
so you're
years
going to make
ago,
this nothing but a male-female thing?
I think
What you're not taking into account here the party affiliation, right?
No.
Or the ages.
Which is a third across the board. And I've looked at the party affiliation.
Uh-huh.
It's 34 Republican, 33 Democrat, and 33 Independent.
And 33 independents, if you want to go party affiliation or sex, I don't know what the sex is, so male, female, but party affiliation, generally speaking, prior to this election in North Carolina, the affiliated would swing 60-40 towards the towards the Republicans. That was the general. So I don't know what the gender breaks down for unaffiliates. Do you?
No.
I don't.
Okay, anyway, those numbers are all out there, and as you know, figures lie and liars figure. We can take all the wild ass guesses we want all day, every day
Yeah.
for a long time, and We'll find out sometime maybe about 2 to 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow morning.
I think you're going to find out about North Carolina.
Not North
Michigan,
Carolina. I'm
and
talking
Georgia.
about nationwide.
Oh, the nation, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may be right. We may not know. And in fact, if it comes to a couple of these states, Arizona or Nevada, we may not know for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, and I don't think I'm saying this as a partisan. I think I'm saying this genuinely. If I had to be in one of their shoes today, be in their position today, I think she's in a better position because of what we've seen through the early voting.
Okay. We'll have to wait and
And
see.
I think that's the good news for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to
So
wait and
it'll be
see.
interesting.
Well, and
Absolutely.
I'm trying to figure out what kind of turnout we're having already today, and trying to reach Kelly's. I hope she's at a polling place.
Before I let you guys go, can I give you guys one thing I'll be watching for tonight?
Go ahead.
And this will be the. I can't phrase it the way I was. If I have an oh gosh moment today, and I wasn't going to say gosh, you can fill it.
I know.
I was going to say okay. It will be the two things I'm going to be watching are early on are New Hampshire.
Yes.
New Hampshire is a state that the Democrats should win. For whatever, and by the way, by all accounts, the Trump campaign pulled out of New Hampshire. At one point thought they were going to contest it, pulled out. Yesterday, out of the blue, J.D. Vance had a last-minute rally in New Hampshire. So either that means that they think it's in play, or they're throwing a Hail Mary. But if you see it early on, and regardless of what network you're counting on or watching, if you see the analysts say, wow, Trump's doing better in New Hampshire or Virginia for that matter, then this could be a very good night for Trump.
Mhm.
So that'll be the first.
So New Hampshire and Virginia are your two key states, right?
The key early states to gauge how it's going.
Sure.
Harris is going to win both of those states, but if he's doing better than expected and they look tight across the board, he may have a much better run.
And it may look tight across, further. It may even look better for him in other states across the country. That's what you're saying.
Oh, sure it will.
Okay.
Sure it will.
All right,
but
gotcha.
that would be an upset for him if he can pull those
All right.
off. So that's what I'll be walking at.
We'll be watching, and we'll take the temperatures of both those locations tonight. And we're probably going to be on here on Facebook. Lee and I will for a while tonight.
All right. Sounds good. You guys
So
have a great
if you-
day.
You too,
Everyone,
Dad.
If you haven't
If you
gotten
tune,
out,
if-
get out and vote.
absolutely. And
All right.
and do it the way I wanted you to do it. And you don't know
Right.
what that is, but do it the way I want you to do it.
I just want people to accept the result.
See, I just
Right,
want
right.
I want enough people to turn out so that we will have a representative number of the people in this country for one time. Good golly, I just
Well,
love
let me
them
ask
all
you
turn
this,
out.
Doug. Will you accept the results if Trump wins?
Oh, he will. I know Doug will.
Oh, okay.
He's a
I mean,
realist.
Right.
yeah. I mean, I would if the results go the other way, and even if I think that something fishy happened, I'm not getting in a protest.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm just not. I'm
No,
not.
Can't afford it.
I'm not going to storm the Capitol as they did 4 years ago, or I'm not going to put a vagina on top of my head as they did 8 years ago in March.
So
I'm not going to do either one.
Stupid.
But I will tell you, I think it's been a good week for her, and I'm optimistic.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
we shall see.
Okay.
And if you're tuning in
That's
tonight
good.
sometime after 7:30 and you happen to be looking here on Facebook, dial us up and call us up.
Yes.
Oh, you'll be back. I will absolutely.
Yes,
I
that'd be
will.
great. Thank you, Doug.
All right, Doug, you
All
take care. Be
guys, have a
safe.
Good night.
See you.
Well,
Interesting character that he is. Okay, we're going to do weather
Yeah.
while I'm here with the weather. You want to try to dial up Kelly and see
I
if
did.
Did
Well,
you
I sent
dial
her
up?
messages.
Well, don't do that. Just call her phone and see if she's available. So we'll see.
Yeah.
The Marine Forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. Politics, we've been discussing it now for an hour and 24 minutes this morning for the most part. Politics can bring out the worst in people and can cause a lot of unwarranted stress. We all know that. And it doesn't just vanish after an election. Sometimes it just lasts and lasts and lasts. But this time of year, with the approaching holidays, with a new year right around the corner, with the pressures of gift giving, with families getting together and trying their best to be nice to each other, or at least civil, The hustle and bustle of just going to the store for your daily needs, that's enough pressure to test anyone. Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville encourages you to take it easy. Don't overload your plate. Don't try and compete when it comes to buying gifts for your friends and family. For those families that are estranged, and there are a lot out there, those units where parents are no longer together, perhaps they don't even speak to each other, lines to deal with the most vulnerable members, those children, should be agreed on in advance. You and the ex need to chat. You can do it online. You can do it in person.
Wow.
You can do it in person. You can do it wherever. But come to some sort of terms.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yes.
Parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, none should try to outshine the others. If you're feeling the pressure before the holidays arrive and you're having problems coping, why not arrange to meet with a counselor at Community Prevention Services? Do it in advance. No doubt there's nothing that they haven't dealt with before. For your peace of mind and to make the holidays really joyous ones, regardless of any underlying circumstances, call Community Prevention Services today. Set up an appointment. Hopefully, it'll make everyone, regardless of the issues, a little more at ease. 910-353-0972. Offshore, small craft advisory remains in effect through late tonight. Southeast 15 knot seas 4 to 6 feet. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Tomorrow, winds from the south 5 to 10, seas 4 to 5. Sounds and rivers a light chop. And Thursday looking better. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10, 3 to 5 footers. And sounds and rivers a light chop.
Today, mostly sunny with a high near 79. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 60. Wednesday, partly sunny with a high near 82. And Thursday, a chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a high near 78. And I say bring on the rain. We need some rain.
I don't want any rain right now.
The ground is so dry.
It'll make the people go home from the polls.
You go out to mow the yard, it's nothing but a dust storm out there.
It'll change. You'll be
I'll come in and I'm just
You're
like,
going to be shoveling snow about the 15th of January. Good morning. How are things at the polls?
Well, I'm not at the polls,
that's Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. Why aren't you out there at the polls?
honey, because we already voted.
Well, don't you want to just go out there and cheer your team on?
You go, girl.
Well,
You go, girl.
Well, I mean, we are going to do a drive-by. Terry's got a doctor's appointment today, so we are going to do a drive-by. I can't.
Hold on just a second. Do not use that term.
Drive by.
Drive by. Okay? You're going to have the
Hadn't thought
popo
about that.
chasing you down.
Hadn't thought about that. Well, I wouldn't have Gertrude with me. But anywho.
She's named her. Oh,
Yeah.
oh. You weren't around and prior to when our grandmother Brown was alive, were you?
I was not.
Do you
I
know
was
her
not.
name?
Well, I know that Mom's name was Edna Gertrude.
Yeah, that's right.
My aunt's name was Gertrude.
Now Terry's grandma. So I mean, I
That's what I'm talking about.
definitely remember her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Mom. Yeah, most
And our
definitely.
grandmother on the paternal side, her middle name was Gertrude, Alice Gertrude,
Right.
and they called her
Mhm.
Gertie.
Gertie.
So when you start naming it Gertrude,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
We called our
Blame
aunt.
it on Gertrude.
We called
It
ours
was
Gutterball Gert.
between Gertrude and Gladys, and
Oh.
Gladys
Yeah.
was my mama's name. And I
Oh.
thought, well, I'm just going to go with Gertrude. But
There you
anyway,
go.
I was going to tell you just a couple of things as far as early voting. Now, when Terry and I went, they were packed. I mean, oh, good Lord, Civic Center was packed. But because he was in a wheelchair, when we went in, they said, no, you go on this way. And we turned, and I looked down, and they were lined all the way down the other way, but we got to skip line because he was handicapped. But our nephew up here went and voted early, and he said it took him about an hour
Oh, wow.
and to get through the line. It took us about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But I was going to, as far as all of this, you know, everybody's got their own opinions about how it's going to go, and
I want to hear
you know,
Jennifer.
I hear
women's
yours.
opinions and all of this. I talked to somebody yesterday that is in his mid to late 30s, has never voted before,
Wow.
and told me, he said, yeah, he said, I registered, and I'm voting. He said, because I've never cared for Donald Trump, but Kamala Harris scares the blank out of me.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm hearing a lot of.
And so, and they can say that, well, she's got the women's vote, but leaves a poor taste in a lot of people's mouths when she does an ad actually saying, you know, praying women lying to their husbands, which it's none of anybody's business who you vote for. That's common knowledge. You can go in there and you can write in Captain Kangaroo if you want to.
Right.
Nobody's going to know. But to put a political ad out endorsing that, you know, to say, we don't care what your husband says, you go in there and vote for Kamala, that's, I don't know, I've heard a lot of chatter about that. I've heard a lot of, no, that's not right. That leaves a very poor taste.
Sure.
And there's a lot of, I believe that it is not, and I might be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll call in tomorrow and say, hey, I was wrong.
We're going to have to wait and see.
I don't think this race is as tight as they say it is. I really don't.
I'm hearing more
really
and more
don't.
people say the same thing. And, you know, when we've talked about the polls and the pollsters, and even Doug and I were talking about it this morning, we've both dealt with pollsters in the past. I think they were probably, there were certain polls that were a little more accurate, and they dealt with the individuals. They had a formula for doing things. I think people are doing a lot of willy-nilly today. And then the pollsters, to me, just, this is a gut feeling here. The pollsters are getting together with each other and saying, you know, none of us want to be out there looking stupid and being really wrong. So why don't we all come up with really close to the same thing? And we come up with our margin of error, 3 to 5% or whatever they come up with. So therefore, we're not wrong. Error. So we were right. And then we were all right. What?
They're basing so much off of, well, we've had this many registered Republicans vote. We've had this many registered Democrats. There again, they could be voting for Captain Kangaroo.
Yep.
Who knows? I mean, it doesn't make any difference. There's, you know, they could be, you know, I've been a registered Democrat my whole life, but I ain't feeling it this year or whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah,
well, I'm going to swing Republican, and I don't think it's going to be as tight as what they say.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
I agree with you, Jennifer.
Money on it, but that's
right.
In North Carolina, I don't think it's going to be nearly as tight as they're saying it's going to be. People are, and I'm discounting all the polls. Okay,
right.
I just, the people who are talking, even the candidates and the individuals that just talk. And admittedly, a lot of people who know me will talk to me, and because they know who I am and they know that I'm conservative, and they say, well, what do you think? And I don't think. I don't tell you what I think. I lean conservative. That's the best I will tell you. Unless it's a really, really outright race. And I will tell you, I do not like Josh Stein, and I did not vote for Josh Stein. I will tell you that. I'm not going to tell you who I voted for, but I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the Republicans nominee. I will tell you that. And I'm not even going to tell you that I voted in that race. Well, I can too, because I voted in every race.
Yes.
And you know, the thing is there are so many people, and this is my opinion, there are so many people that are not pleased, happy with either.
I know that.
I understand that.
It comes down to the old trading the witch for the devil. And I honestly believe that in the long run, like the fella told me, Kamala Harris scares the out of me. Yeah. And she does. She really does. She has flip-flopped on too many issues.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. I mean, when she's talking about, well, yeah, we're going to go in there. Well, yeah, we're going to go in there and take your gun.
Yeah.
They've got her on camera saying that. And then all of a sudden, well,
She can't do it, number one. It ain't going to happen.
She didn't mean that, and this and that, the other. And, it's just.
And then she's also suddenly got a gun and she'll shoot somebody that comes into her house.
Exactly.
She said that. I mean, like, come on. That's being two-faced, y'all. If that's the way you feel, be that way all the time. Otherwise, you're two-faced and you mean nothing. But Trump does the same kind of stupid stuff. He's got his own issues.
She has talked so much out both sides of her mouth that it is just honestly ridiculous. It is honestly ridiculous. And to think that is the best that the Democrats could come up with.
Right.
It's Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, for crying out loud. And, I think if she had picked Shapiro, I think it would be a lot tighter race.
Yeah.
I don't think she picked Shapiro because I think they're keeping Shapiro kind of like Gavin Newsom. I think they're keeping them thrown down the line. God help us all on Gavin Newsom.
Well, he can't do it. I don't care what occurs. Newsom cannot get out of California and do anything. I think he's so deeply tainted in California that the majority of this country he would need to get a passport to visit.
Too much baggage with him. He's got too much baggage. I don't think he would.
So,
but
anyway,
anywho, that's my.
Forget about 2024. Okay, it's all done. Whatever it is, it's all done. By the time the people get to the polls tonight, it's all one and done. So forget about 2024. There ain't a dang thing that you can do about it. I can do about it. Here's what we need to look at. I'm looking at 2028. So if Donald Trump is elected president, I am. If Trump happens to be president, we got to look at 2028 because he can't run again after that. If Harris, then at this point in time, if Harris is the next president, the upcoming president, then we got to look at 2028.
Throw our names in the hat, Rayford.
Well,
Brown and Blizzard, 28.
Here's what we got to do for 2028. We will have, if she is president, we will have an opportunity to find out exactly what she can or cannot do. I consider this a test. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system.
Oh,
okay?
I need more coffee.
We have 4 years to decide whether we got 4 years to decide whether she can cut the mustard or not. If she can, then we, the people of this nation, have an obligation to find somebody who can. If Trump is the president, we still have an obligation to find somebody who can in 2028.
It's like I said the other day, if the Democratic Party really and truly thought that she could handle being the president. When Biden lost his ever-loving mind in front of the whole world, they would have, a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, they would have gone ahead and taken him out and put her in there. But they knew that she did not know what she was doing. She still doesn't know what she's doing. And now they're stuck with her.
The Democrat Party had a plan in 2020. I told you what the plan was in 2020 several times. They were going to let Joey handle the thing because he could get elected, and he did. He could get elected. Name recognition, his past service, yada, yada, yada. He was just an okay guy. He didn't mean much of anything, plus or minus. There was just not that much there. But he could beat Trump because Trump had done so much stupid stuff, and he did.
Right.
So, but the plan was with the Democrat National Committee, let's get Kamala Harris in there as the VP. Okay, because she was scoring okay prior to her withdrawing because they made her withdraw during the primaries. They made her get out, right? No doubt. That was to keep her in the running. So therefore they thought that, well, she would be a good replacement for Joe in 2 years. 2 years and a day. That way she could go in there, he could withdraw and say, I got family things, I got this and that. They knew he had issues when they put him in there in the first place.
They kept him hid.
But then Then she scared the Democrat National Committee. Now they were stuck with her. Now they had to keep Joe Biden in place because there was no way on God's green earth, if she served 2 years, that she could be elected in
You're right.
2024. That was the reason
And
they did it.
That's why I don't believe this race is as tight as it is.
We'll see.
Because
I don't know.
there's enough Democrats out there that have enough common sense to know, you know, if we had have just they're sitting there right now thinking, you know what? If we hadn't done all this crap, if we would have just let Trump get reelected, all of this would be behind us right now.
Yeah, they could find somebody to run.
Completely different, you know, ball game right now. But I'm going to be surprised. I think there's going to be a lot of, I can't believe it's going to be just like 16 all over again when the media's heads were exploding going, oh my gosh, he just got Florida. And they just couldn't believe it. And that's how it's going to be again this year. I really believe. But anywho, y'all have a great day.
You too, Jennifer.
Have fun.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, we got somebody trying to call online too. You guys, if you're trying to reach us now is a good time to call us. Call us on our line again. The phone rolls over to line 2. Well, line 2, we cannot talk to you on line 2 right now. Okay.
Right.
So whoever's calling, I'm gonna pick it up and hang up. And call right back. We have no one on the line. So first person through, you get through. 910-333-0139.
And there you go.
I don't know who turned that ringer on, but it's a loud, obnoxious ringer. Good morning.
It's not that loud of a ringer.
Yes, it was. It hurts my ears.
Well, it is in the studios.
Chris.
It is, yes.
How you doing, Chris?
Good morning. I'm doing good, thanks. Let me have some factual numbers right now, just for a second to change. To reach across America for our Coast State Veteran Cemetery, we are up to 1,100 wreaths.
Oh, good.
Well, we only need 6,000.
Yeah, so we're only 49, and we've got my particular group is wreaths for our fallen victims, fallen veterans. We've got more checks coming in. I want to thank the businesses and, of course, you folks again for letting me mention these items. And tomorrow, following your show, I'll be on Wreaths Across America radio network, which is heard across the United States and other areas, and talking about our local area.
I'm sure you're going to make mention that we are home of Camp Lejeune, the second largest marine base in the world, the largest amphibious marine base in the world, and we have a lot of heroes out here in our cemetery.
That's right.
You read my mind.
There you go.
Actually, people of that, and I'm not going to pick on individuals, but for anybody in this town that wants to think back to Desert Storm, when the town almost shriveled up, and how we rely on our military. A lot of the veterans that were there alive then are now in the cemetery. They need wreaths.
Yes, they do.
So, one other thing, if I may, for my site that's on Facebook, and I did create a new page called Wreaths for Our Fallen Veterans. We are doing the buy two, get one free. If you go through National, they do not have that program.
Okay.
So get more bang for your buck. $34 will get you 3 wreaths. Everybody hopefully can do the math on that. I know you're getting another phone call. They say that the best predictor of presidential elections is, of all places, a gentleman in France.
Oh, really?
Yes. And he is predicting President Trump.
Huh.
I'm not going to predict, because here's the bottom line: whoever wins, we have to live with it for 4 years, and that's what people need to think about. We got to live with it for 4 years. We also have the important local elections. Think of it. We have to keep reminding that. But Rayford, thank you for bringing up the point, and Lee, thank you for your discussions, because I think Doug is way off base as usual. But then those are his thoughts. I deal with facts and logic. But here's the thing. everyone's polling. Okay, here's what the Democrats are saying, and this is what the Republicans are saying. Rayford, you brought up a good point, my friend. The unaffiliated. Nobody's saying what they're voting for, who they're voting for.
Traditionally, it's 60-40. They lean towards whoever the Republican's going to be or is. This year, I don't know. A lot of my brethren out there, I'm trying to find somebody that's leaning the other direction. And of course, these people don't talk to me, to be honest with you. So I get God, I'm unaffiliated, and they can always vote for who they want, but they can really stand up and make a difference.
Yep.
And we can be very silent. Well, you know me, I like being a sleuth, sneaky Pete. So it's kind of neat that nobody knows. They can look at us, unaffiliated. Oh, he's probably going to vote. We don't know. We don't know.
That's a good thing. At least if you're out there voting, you have a right to say something. If you don't vote, first, shame on you. Second, you have no right to complain about anything.
Shame.
Yep. Shame. Thank you, Lee. And one other thing to this factcheck.org.
Yes. Very good place.
Billionaires, individuals. I'm not talking about business. Individuals pay 26.8% at a tax rate.
Yeah.
So, it's too. I'm not going to go into big dissertations about what's right, who's better, who's not. Just go out and vote, people.
Yeah.
Go out and vote. Then tune into tonight's show on Live and Local, and as long as I'm giving reports.
And come on by if you want to, Chris.
Yeah,
if you're out and about.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the offer, and thank you for letting me mention once again the
Wreaths Across America, definitely.
Sure. Yeah. I'll call you later, Chris.
And by the way, 26% of $1 billion is a whole lot of money. If
Yes,
you got
it
$1
is.
billion coming in and you get the tax
I don't
dollars,
even know how many
26%
zeros that
comes
is.
out to a bunch, then you know what?
Yeah.
Do you want to have 26% of $1 billion, or do you want to have 15% of $50,000? Let me think about that.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. I'll call you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right, callers, if you're trying to call in now, when we got somebody on the air, one more time, you'll need to call in again after they leave the air. So
Right.
right now
Right now
is
it's
the time
open.
to call because the line is open. 910-333-0139. We've got time for at least one more
Yeah,
call
I
before
have
we
some
shut down, and we may, if we need
Figures
to, go
that
ahead.
I wanted to bring up
What kind
too.
of figures you got?
Okay.
These are not Twiggy figures, are they?
No.
12.
Twiggy's gone. Oh, this is figures for early voting in Onslow County. I did some research because I kind of wanted to see 2012 general election for early voting. It doesn't show anything. 29,970 voters for early voting in 2012. 29,900.
And this year,
And they were Democrat. The Democrats were the prominent party. In 2016, our early voting totals were 34,922. So it went up 5,000, and it was predominantly Republican. In 2020, 58,169 prominently Republican, and in 2024, 61,818. So we've gone up 3,500 votes since 2020 totals for early voting, and predominantly Republican here too. Of
There
course,
you
we're a Republican county, so yeah.
we have a caller. Good morning.
Good morning, deplorables.
Hello, Mr. Adorable. How are you?
Wait a minute.
Hey, today might be the last day I'm going to call you deplorables when we get the first woman president in.
Well,
What do you think of that,
I'm not going to hold my breath that you won't call me deplorable anymore.
Why? Hold your breath, baby.
No, if I do that, I die.
You ain't going to die. Don't worry about
She
it.
gets in, Theo. What's going to be our new names?
What you going to call us then?
No. Listen, Jennifer, please, girl. Bless her heart. I mean, Trump. You got a felon. You're going to put a felon in the office. Okay? He gave you an insurrection. Does that mean anything to you? Huh? Oh, my God. You guys are something else, huh?
So are you trying to change Jennifer's mind? She's already cast her vote, so.
Jennifer, a good businessman, but then he filed bankruptcy for 7 times.
Is that all?
How's that a good businessman?
Is that all?
She called him a good businessman one time. That's why he owes $400 million to the state of New York, because he's such a good businessman.
Uh-huh.
So what are you guys doing? You ready for the big? What do you mean you're going to be on later on?
Yeah, we're going to, tonight, 7:30 or so, when the ballots start being counted and they start releasing some of the information, we're going to just sign on then and talk for a little
Yeah.
while. So if you want to join us,
Yeah.
feel free to ring us up
For how long?
until we get tired.
All right.
Till
So
the
it
pizza
starts at
runs out.
7?
We're going to start about 7:30.
About 7:30?
Yeah, come on down if you want to sit in with us. You can do that too.
Come on.
You can
Come on.
We'll let you cry in your beer.
Where's your other half? Your other third, I should say. Where's
She's
Kelly?
out pole dancing.
She's out working on the polls.
Oh, she is?
Yes.
All right. I didn't see a chair over there, and I thought maybe she dropped out.
No, I just moved it out of the way. I tried to clean up the desk a little bit.
Well,
This morning.
sometimes from time to time, when I get up and start to walk around, there's a spare chair hanging around doing nothing, and I stumble on it. You know how it is when you get old, don't you, Theo?
Yeah. Listen, you were talking about donations yesterday, that people were calling you up, Democrats, Republicans, for donations, and you said, what? You don't want to give anything to the Democrats?
I'm not going to give anything to anybody. This late date, what are they going to do with the money?
No, listen, you got to give something to Trump because he needs it for his lawyer fees.
First of all, Theo, if they use campaign money for any other fees, sorry, that's another offense.
Yeah, okay. Very good. That's why he's got his daughter-in-law over there to straighten things out. You know what I mean?
No,
God, you guys are so gullible.
She's on the Republican National Committee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So donate to Trump. He's going to need it. Pay some of his lawyer. A billionaire needs money to pay his lawyer fees. Boy, you guys know.
I'll tell you what you need to do, Theo. Why don't you go back and look at all of the candidates that you can find, national or otherwise, and look for my name as a contributor to. Just let me know when you find my name somewhere, and because there are 7 of me with my same name in North Carolina.
All right. Did you vote?
Yep, I did on Saturday morning.
You get to whisper in my ear. Who did you vote for? Come on.
The winner.
The winner. Thank you. First woman president in the United States. Beautiful. You're going to make history.
Willie.
Yeah, that's why I won't be able to call you deplorables anymore.
Oh,
it ends tonight.
It does.
No,
Hopefully.
it begins on January 20th.
Yeah. You want me to call you deplorables till then?
You can if you want to. I like the name. I mean,
Doesn't bother me.
I've
I'm not like a Democrat. I don't get upset at names.
I've
You
lived
got
with
used
it. I like
to it, huh? You got used to it.
I have
You like it now.
I didn't take it off my truck when I sold it. When I sold my pickup truck, I had a sign that said deplorables.
Yeah,
but I didn't want
it
to.
now,
I didn't want to
don't you?
destroy it by taking it off, so it's still there. Somebody else is driving around in that truck.
It hurts so good.
Deplorables hurt so good. How about adorable? Yeah, we call you adorable even after the election.
All right, but the names don't bother me. But when Kamala Harris. Let me give you a little thing about how to pronounce her name. All right,
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Okay, so listen. If you knew the Greek language, most of the words they have an accent where it should be accented. You know what I mean? So let's say for Kamala, if you wrote it in Greek, Kamala, it would have an accent on the first A, which should say Kamala. Now, if you put the syllable on the second A, it would be Kamala. And if you put it on the third A, it would be Kamala. Okay? In this case, it's Kamala, and you guys just can't get it right.
We have been saying Kamala.
We've said it Kamala the whole time.
If I put the accent on Rayford on the Ford, it would be Rufford. How would you like if I called you Rufford?
I don't care what you call me, as long as you call me 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Deplorable's fine.
Let's get it straight and call the right
We
name.
have been saying it correctly.
We have
The
been.
accent is on the
Okay.
first A.
Let me just tell you how it's pronounced and how we looked it up and how we determined
That's
what
right.
it was. She says, well, I don't care how you want to pronounce it or anybody else. She says it's Kamala. We listened to her. I listened to the recording, and then she explained how to pronounce it. It's like comma. You don't like that little squiggly thing?
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
comma la.
Yeah.
Comma
Comma
la. We've been pronouncing it that way. What are you beefing about?
And even Oprah.
I'm talking about the other deplorables on TV. That
Oh, I don't care about that. They're
Even
losers.
us.
They're
Okay.
losers. They're all losers. I don't care about that.
All right. Hey, but I might call you later on.
All right.
You can do that.
You got a float for next Saturday for the veterans?
Yes, we do.
We're using a truck. We're going to decorate it with flags like you would not believe and
That's
other
right.
stuff.
Right.
Okay. So that's the parade next Saturday, huh?
We'll see you there.
And
All
I've
right.
tried to, and they won't let me carry it. I have a military, because this is a Veterans Day parade, right?
That's right.
I've got an antique military rifle.
No.
They won't let me bring it in the parade. It's an 1851 musket. Do you
Oh
not
my
think they should give an
God.
exception to that? That's history in the making.
Going
An
to the terror of the
1851
public.
musket.
Isn't that
So
called?
one more thing that's important: reefs across America.
Yes.
That's all
Yes.
you got right now. Hey, Chris, Mr. Fact announcer, you better get some more reefs and take care of that cemetery.
He's working as hard as
Well,
he can.
that's why he started his own organization, because the person or persons in charge of collecting, as usual, have done nothing.
Nothing.
So
Didn't you say Lazarus got $60,000?
that all fell through.
Yeah,
the state.
would not follow through on it. Lazaro was having a hissy fit about it.
Yes.
And he got it. He got a general commitment. And then some
When they went to
pukes,
vote on it.
some pukes somewhere in this state voted it down.
That's right.
Okay, you Republicans, you know how to hurt people's feelings, and
It wasn't-
Lee, you're not
I'm not a
out of this
Republican.
either, because Lee, you said you were going to start early last year when we were going through this. Okay?
She did.
Yeah, all right.
She's been working on it all year.
Okay,
Don't-
so that's all we got.
We
1900
we thought we had it secured.
That's right.
We
We
did.
did. Thought
But,
we had
but
it.
the pukes at the state
All
level
right.
said no.
All right,
Pukes.
What?
all right. Yeah.
Senator knows what
Okay.
I mean.
Oh, I'm glad that
All
was empty.
talk, no action.
Yeah.
Well, we worked very hard on it and it fell through. And the senator was extremely disappointed
Yep.
because he thought he had it. And when they went back to meet to vote on budget expenditures, got voted down.
Yeah.
So
The
That's
pukes,
voted
the
down, huh?
pukes
Yes.
voted him down.
Military, super majority, military state, turned down, huh?
Yep.
Nice work, Republicans. Nice
well,
work.
right
Republicans.
now I can bring up the vote and show you the numbers, and you might want to
You might want to
recall
reconsider
what
that
you
one.
just said. That's right.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do
what,
that
the
for
Democrats,
tomorrow.
They want to do it?
Hmm.
We're going to give you the numbers tomorrow.
We'll give you the numbers on it.
We'll
Okay.
tell you the numbers. How many senators and how their affiliation was who
I
voted
think it was
down.
voted down in committee. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Innocent.
I'm
Now,
going
it
to
didn't
be
make it all the
very
way through.
surprised if you give me some negative feedback on the Democrats.
Okay,
Right.
Theo, have a good
All
one.
right.
All right.
Take it easy. I might call you later.
I
Okay,
hope so.
Thea. We'll look
After
forward to it.
after 7:30. Bye.
Ah,
Okay.
All
now,
right.
if
I
you
do have
get-
one
get that,
person. It's you'll
just-
hang up on that caller
Are they trying to call back?
because I have one that's been trying to call.
Okay. I didn't have to. So
All right. Now we'll let them call. Well,
Oh, that's right. That one doesn't work. So anyway, if you're trying to call, we got one person trying to call. Ring us up now, and when that
Right.
ring a dingy, you'll hear it when it goes off. Lord of mercy.
right.
All the
Anyway,
stuff yesterday when I was working on things went to pot. So whatever. Okay, you've got something there. You had.
no, I forget what I was even talking about.
So did I.
But I think it's still polls are coming out that it's a tight race. I'm just wondering how skewed the
Polls
polls
are
are.
going to come out because those pollsters will not have a job if they get it wrong. If
Well,
they go
this is-
beyond their 3 to 5% plus or minus, they're not going to have a job next go round.
This is my issue. If you go back and look at your major media networks, they're the ones that lean left have come out continuously with polls, and they always coincide with each other.
Yes.
But yet you have your right leaning media who comes out that's telling a whole completely different story.
But they're
Now,
all still
what
within the
if-
5%, 3 to 5% margin of error.
Yes, but what if you have major news media that was sending you and putting out skewed polls in order to try to capture those voters who are going to vote with who they think is going to win?
Mhm.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
Manipulating.
that's a question that maybe tomorrow we'll ask people. How did the polls, were you impacted by the reports about how the polls were?
No.
Not you, but
Right.
for you folks out there, voters out there, and if you want to, we had somebody who wanted to call, but if you want to call now, I'll hang in there for a
Yeah.
few minutes. We'll take your
I
call.
just told them call.
910-333-0139. If when you cast your vote, either whether it's today or earlier on,
Right.
were you influenced by the way the polls were going? And were
No.
you influenced in a way that caused you to vote
Right.
the opposite of what they were saying?
Right.
Or what? Or did that weaponize you to vote against whoever they think it was?
Well, there's just so many influences out there,
Uh-huh.
and polls do their job. News media does their job. So many people out there, they do their job. They pick sides and they try to influence you by information that maybe might not all be 100%.
Well, it's
it's part of the
100%.
game.
You're within 3 to 5%. All of those hurricane
Mhm.
models, the vast majority of them say the spaghetti models say it's going to land here, there, within plus or minus 500 miles. Whatever. Break. Hey, Robin, what's up?
Hey guys, I figured I'd call you and
Hey.
kind of check in. I'm at the polls. Obviously, it's election day. I'm currently at the Commons. It's a pretty steady flow of people. Not like the early voting, but there are still a lot of people out here that have decided to vote on election day. So it's pretty
Cool.
interesting.
Are the lines
Cool.
very long?
As far as the Commons are concerned, it's out the door and halfway down the street. So it's not wrapped around the building like it was during early voting, but there's still a lot of
Still
people.
a lot.
People
That's
are
a lot of
steadily
people.
coming. So a lot of people are still steadily flowing into the parking lot. I've asked a couple of people, why didn't you early vote? And they're kind of traditionalists. They said, we like to
Right.
vote on election day,
Good.
which I can understand. And I know Kelly is over at Catalyst Church right now, handing out pamphlets and stuff. So it's really encouraging. The difference that I've seen with most of these people nowadays compared to the last election is when you hand out your business cards or your placards, they're accepting them. A lot of people back at the last election didn't want cards, or you could tell that they've already made their minds up. But a lot of people out here are accepting the cards, and they're actually taking the time to read the front and back of the cards or the business cards. So it's pretty cool. It's encouraging.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that a lot of people, at least within Onslow County, probably have not made up their mind completely, or they're coming out to vote in the presidential election, and they're just starting to find out about the local politicians in the state level. So that's encouraging.
For you folks that are on your way to the polls, I know you won't be listening
Right.
to us when you get to the polls, but when you're on your way to the polls, please consider. I didn't tell you what to do, but this is what I do. This is what a lot of folks will do. Turn that ballot over to the backside. You see the president at the top of the list on the one side, flip that sucker over, fill that out first. Once you get that one done, now I will tell you, it won't take you very long because a bunch of those races are uncontested.
That's right.
So you
Just
can
one
zip
person.
right on through those.
Right.
I always mark them
Yeah,
anyway. But-
and that's an important thing. The people got to realize that this is a very, very important election for the nation as a whole.
It is.
We've got the presidential election, and a couple of people have told me they did not know the commissioners ran every 4 years. They thought it was every 2 years. I had explained it to one voter, but the bottom line is I'm thanking these people for taking the time, and I'm just asking for their consideration when they go up to the polls. And I have told them to turn over because we have a very important local election as well.
Absolutely.
As far as our county commissioners are concerned, and the Board of Education, and the governor's race, lieutenant governor's race. So it is encouraging. I'm going to spend a little time here, and then I'm going to probably bounce to the other polls. And I've got some other candidates that are out here right now that are handing out their literature. So I just want to thank all the people for coming out on election day and at least considering me and other candidates, for their vote. And
I didn't think that we would have a lot of people at Election Day, but I was totally wrong. There's a bunch of people.
Okay,
in line.
Robin, let me ask you a couple of questions. There are 365 days in a year, right? This is a test, so I'm checking your cognitive ability here. There are 365 days in a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of those 365 days, how many of those would you estimate that you are residing in Onslow County, that you show up in Onslow County?
Okay, I don't understand your question. What do you
How
mean?
many days are you out of Onslow County that you are not in Onslow County during the year? That'll make it easier. How many days a year do you not in Onslow County? Maybe on vacation or whatever.
Probably about 10 days. For
Okay.
me.
So how many days of the year, based upon that, you can do the math, that would put you in Onslow County for about 355 days a year, correct? You're a county commissioner, so you're here 355 days a year. How many days of the year will the President of the United States be in Onslow County next year?
Is there a? I would say zero, but I would say minus whatever. But
you're pretty close to zero. You're pretty close. Zero, if you take it, you will get it right more often than you'll get it wrong.
Yeah,
The point is, Onslow County's commissioners are here every day, virtually every day of the year.
That's right.
Now, who is more important to our daily lives every day of the year?
On a national level, it's very important to vote for the president. But
Of course.
Right. Local level, the Board of Education, Board of Commissioners is very important.
There you go.
Here, so we're on the front lines, and we're governing, and we're dealing with policies and changes within our government that immediately directly affects the citizens of Onslow County.
Okay.
What's decided at the federal level can take several months or weeks or months for it to trickle down to the local level. But they got to keep in mind that when you're voting a certain way at the national level, it will affect the local level as well. And so we need to keep these people in mind, and they need to be educated to know that the people that they need to be concerned about particularly are the Board of Commissioners and the Board of Education. And if you have an issue within your own county, then you need to come out to the votes and cast your vote and cast your opinion on who you think will best lead and govern the county.
If I got a beef with my property taxes, I can go first to the tax department here. If I got a beef with my income tax, who am I going to go see? Treasury Department? Nobody. Nobody.
Well, that's the thing.
Nobody.
One of the biggest things that we deal with, especially as commissioners, is the property tax.
That's right.
I'm a citizen just like anyone else. I get a double whammy. I live in the city and the county.
Me too.
And so, my biggest goal is to lower the tax rate. I've never voted for a tax increase and never will.
Well,
and I will do everything I can to help the citizens, because we got people that are living, on monthly salaries that can't afford a tax
that's
increase
right.
on property.
We fixed income. We got a fixed income, y'all, and quit raising my taxes.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, Robin. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye,
I
Robin.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Guys.
you take care. Okay, if you're out there, you're one of those folks, and you're saying, "Good God, my car's broken down. I can't. I ride, and I was supposed to get a ride to go to." Somebody said they were going to pick me up and take me to the polls today, but they can't show up. They've got a babysitter problem. They got this problem. They got a whatever problem. They got an excuse. And this is my last day to get out and vote. There is an opportunity, though. There is a choice, right?
We want to call it now, see who it is.
Oh, you want to know who this is?
Yes.
Well, dial that number over there. I can't dial it from here.
Okay. I just put it on speaker.
No, just pick it up and dial it.
Okay.
And as soon as you get them on the line, let me know.
Wait. I want to know who they are.
Okay, somebody out there is advertising they are ride to vote.
Dial it. You took my phone number.
Huh?
Oh,
okay. Well, dial that number then. The number out there is, we'll tell you if it's a legit number.
Okay, it's ringing.
State your name after the tone. A voice will try to connect you.
Hang up.
Okay, we're live on local Real Talk here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. We're trying to find out about this ride to vote.
It's still
Okay,
ringing.
we're going to try. This is a cold call, y'all, so be prepared.
Act like John Doe. You need a ride. I must be busy giving rides.
Hello, you have reached the Onslow County NAACP branch. We are unable to take your call at this time. This phone is manned by volunteers. So for a faster response, please feel free to message us on Facebook or email us.
All right.
No questions?
Kenyatta. Yeah. NAACP. That's who that was. All
Okay,
right,
so
just curious
they
as
were
to who it was.
advertising. There's a company, there's a group, and we obviously now know who it
Right.
is. Thank
Yeah,
you for
it
that
was
cold call. I like
NAACP.
doing cold calls.
Yeah, that was, I know. Well, Kelly and I had been talking about, we need to
We
call
should
that
have done that
number. We need to
earlier.
call that
I would
number.
have had a lot of fun. Yeah, there's a number that's advertised. It's I'm not sure exactly what this number is. It's a 929 area code. So
Right.
whatever it is, and we know where it showed up.
Right.
Not judging anything, but if you want a ride to vote,
Yeah.
if you need a ride to go vote, you can call that number.
That's right.
We're not going to be advertising it because I cannot vouch for the
Right.
validity of else. So we're not going to do it. You look it up, you can find it. Okay, we're going to be gone for a while,
Yeah. Not
about
long.
10
huh?
hours,
Right.
10 hours and 20 minutes or so. The polls are open. If you have not voted yet, you can go vote today.
Yes.
You need to, if you do not know or you have not verified where you vote, you can go online. You can go to your Board of Elections and you can put voter search there. You
Right.
can
That's
generally
correct.
look for it. It should be
NC
highlighted.
voter search. Just put it in your web browser.
Put it there, click on it, and then
Mhm.
it will ask you, put your name in. Well, you can do that. Put your name in the way you registered to vote.
That's
Don't put
right.
down there Jim Bob.
Yes.
If your
Right.
name is James and that's the way you're registered to vote, put in James, okay? Jimmy does not work.
Correct.
So do that, and then you click on you, and you will see you. If you want to narrow it down, you can click on it, and because if you got like John Brown, you
Right.
may have a whole bunch of you lineup.
It's
So you
gonna
can go
ask-
down there
right.
and click on the county. that
Yeah,
you're
you'll have to
registered
click on
in.
the county. In other words, put John Brown.
Well,
County
you don't
would be
have
Onslow.
to. You don't have to click
Ye-
on it. You can
ye-
click on all of them, but you don't want to do that.
True, and most of the time you're going to get back an invalid message. It's crazy the way it works. But once you get your registration up, just scroll on down. It'll tell you your polling.
Yep, it'll tell you
It'll
where
tell
you're
you your
supposed to be
ballot
voting.
number. You can click on that and look at your ballot
You
before
can
you even
find out
go.
what your ballot looks like. You can print it out. You could just look at it online and
Right.
say, okay, I'm good with that. I know this. I know that. Who's this? You can you can still do last minute research
That's
today.
right.
And you might want to call a friend in case you don't know who this individual is. Don't call a friend and ask them how to vote unless you really want to. That's up to you. Don't call me because I'm not going to tell you.
Yep.
I'll tell you to vote for me.
Well, polls close at 7:30 tonight. You have to go to the poll that you're registered at.
Yep.
Like you live at this address, yours is Pine Valley, isn't it?
Yep.
Your poll. Mine is over in North Catalyst Church. Everybody's got their own poll, depending
And they
on
do
where you live.
change.
And they do
Mine
change.
changed a couple of
That's
years
right.
ago from the location where it was.
Went to the fire station, drive,
Another one.
and then it came back, didn't it?
I
Is it-
think I haven't voted. I did early voting this
Yeah,
year, so I didn't bother to
Oh,
look at it.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry. I know I could give you that information, but if you live in Bryn Mawr, it'll be one or the other. They're not far apart.
Right.
So, but go ahead and get your butts over there. Probably just before lunch hour, because a lot of people who are working may take their lunch hour to go vote, and that will take them a period of time, of course. And
Yes.
you might see people standing in line eating a burger.
When you
While they're
work for
waiting
the
to vote.
federal government, they will give you time off to go vote.
3 days?
No.
Oh, okay.
3 days. I tried that. It didn't work.
How about if you take off? Does anybody check at the federal government? I want to take today and go vote early.
We had,
And then they could come
Yes.
back and say, hey, I couldn't vote the other day, so I need to take it off again. And then again.
No,
and
you get one try. But we've
Okay.
had some that say, I need someone to take half my route because I need to go vote. Like, yeah, right.
Just stop by the polls while you're driving around
Right,
with your
right.
mail truck.
Yes.
No.
Can't do that. You can't
No.
leave a mail truck unattended like that.
No.
Hey, I've got something for you.
Okay, Dickie, what you got?
Why shouldn't you write with a broken pencil?
Why should you not write with a broken pencil?
That's right.
You'll get a broken sentence.
Because it's pointless. So please go out and vote today.
And get a pen.
Yes.
Color in the little box completely.
Right. Please go
Okay.
out and vote, because if you don't vote and then you want to say something later on down the line, well, it's pointless.
Yeah, and I got to get up with Chris too because it's time to. I know we got 900-degree weather outside right now, but it's getting ready to get cold. And
Yes.
with this warm weather and this odd weather that we've had this year with the hurricanes, and we got one out there now.
Extremely odd.
We'll talk
Raphael.
about it tomorrow when we get through with the election stuff, but it's down there in the Caribbean,
Right.
and it's. I'm sorry, Jamaica has already had it, headed for the Caymans, and then it's going to go all the western part of Cuba, and then up into the Gulf of Mexico. Its direction, unless it changes, is going to take us somewhere between Louisiana and Texas, down in
Right.
that neck of the woods. If it doesn't change its intended course, but we know how that works. Them
We
there
certainly do.
hurricanes, they don't know what
We
they're
know
doing.
all about hurricanes.
They
don't we?
drive a lot like I do when I'm going cross country.
Mhm.
I pick a different route that I started on.
But the weekend is going to be beautiful weather.
Yeah.
We might have a little bit of rain tomorrow, just enough to kind
Dampen
of
our
cement
spirits.
the dust down for a while.
Yeah.
And
I- We'll see you
Could be
tonight.
nice.
Y'all
Yeah.
can tune in if you want to
7:30?
at 7:30, and
Yeah.
we'll be chatting with you at that time. And
right.
and you can call us at that time, and we'll try to get some of these phones straightened out over the next week or so. Hopefully, I'll get that done when I get some of
Yeah.
this other software uploaded and taken care of.
Yes.
See you tonight. Have a great rest of your day. Oh, should we take it? Yeah, before we leave.
I don't know who. We'll take one more call.
This final call. Hello.
Hey, Charlie, are you guys off the air?
Yes, but no. But
Well,
we're
we're
still here.
getting
But we're
ready
getting
to
ready to
go.
leave. We can stay as long as we want. Now we got Charlie on the air. What's going, Charlie?
Dude, you guys got to just stay online as long as you can. Don't stop. Stay online. Keep it up. Stay online. Go on, read the results. Go to all the different BS crap websites. Go to CN, report their crap. Go to Fox, report their crap.
Uh-huh.
Go to every website.
Well, I do that pretty much every day and every evening anyway. So we'll be doing it all day long today. But I don't know about staying on. Well, things are popping and breaking throughout the day. You just never
Yeah.
can tell when I'll show up.
We've got to do some maintenance.
We got some housekeeping chores to do too.
What's that dog's name?
Shockwave.
Okay, seriously, the dog's name is Shockwave. So you say, "Hey, Shockwave, come here. Shockwave,
Yeah,
come here."
Shockwave, come here. Shockwave,
That's a
come.
long name. Anyway,
Shockwave?
guys, I think you guys should do an all-day podcast. So you do what you got to do.
Thank
I'll keep
you.
on watching you guys. Have a good
All
day.
right.
For
Bye-bye,
some reason or
Charlie.
another, the ladies in the office have to go take a break. You
All
know
right,
what?
well, take a nap.
You
take
know
a
what
break,
that
but come
means.
back on live. Do an all-day podcast. This is for the democracy of the United States of America.
Podcasts and potty calls. There you go. Thank you, Charlie.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye. Okay. Phew.
All right.
Let's take a break. You're live on Local Real Talk. We will see you at about 7:30 or so tonight. If I can find the buttons to stop us. Have a great rest of your day.
Oh, I just-